And we are up and running.
Welcome back, everybody, to Two Captains, One Pod.
The pod we're in, you decide.
We're episode 26, end of season 1. This is the wrap party.
Season 1.
This is what we've been building to the entire time, getting done with this show so we can get to the cool shit. Just kidding.
Now what?
No, but next week starts some of my favorites, and probably one of my better introductions to Trek. With the Kelvin timeline. But this week we're finishing off with Star Trek Enterprise seasons 3 and 4. John, you said you've got an article. I've got an article, so it's double article trouble
towards the end, just because of the contents of the article.
Okay.
Once we've gotten to the point where we're done talking about seasons 3 and 4 and get off topic like we always do.
Exactly. Seasons 3 and 4, nothing memorable except for season 3. In my opinion, was only cool because I'm a World War II history buff, but then again, it also had no history in it whatsoever, so I kind of, yeah. But hey, it was cool getting to see Jon Favreau in Star Trek.
As well as Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, as well as Seth MacFarlane for the second and third, or no,
for the
first and second time
he was in.
Yeah. Because he was in season 1 for an episode and then season 4 for an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Or season 3 for an episode, season 4 for an episode. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's been a long day. It's been a long couple of days.
I was about to say, it's been a long couple of days.
Yeah. Had my daughter's 4th birthday yesterday, so I've been doing nothing but like sleeping off social battery overload today. So I'm not like, I think I've been awake maybe 6 hours at this point in time.
Well, you're doing better than I am.
Oh. But let's see.
I'm on the verge of either meet God or become him.
Yeah. A lot of shit has happened in the real world. Hell, day before my daughter's birthday, I lost one of my childhood heroes. As you know, I'm a big sports fan, and I have, when it comes to baseball, I have 2 teams, and I can't. It's always hard to watch when they go up against each other. It's the Texas Rangers, because that's where I grew up. That's where I have that love for my city, my team. But my grandfather grew up in Chicago in the 50s. And he grew up a fan of the Cubs. And so watching baseball at his house, I was a Cubs fan. And we lost Ryan Sandberg. So that was fun. You know, I got to watch the Cubs broadcast that day and see how they were going to remember him, which really gave me a lot of closure. But dear God, we had to lose that game? Are you kidding me? And then the Rangers did no better, except for there was a fight.
Sounds about right.
But that's enough about the real world shit. Let's get back to Star Trek and Star Trek Enterprise. Fucking Christ. Season 4, I loved it. I hated the ending, but I loved the ending.
A lot of people hated the ending. I'm not too big of a fan on the ending. I get why the ending was there, but I was not a fan of it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Season 3, I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed that whole arc. The whole Xindi War arc.
I think season 3 would have been a lot cooler if they would have added real World War II facts into it. But they just kind of were like, we're just going to play some World War II. And, but I get it. It's technically an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Technically.
I mean, that was like the last episode of season 3.
Season 2 is the Xindi arc.
No, season 3 is the Xindi arc.
Okay,
Season
so
4
then
is
I'm talking about season 4 then. Well, fuck it.
anyway.
Okay, sorry about that. Let's see. Season 3 is the Xindi arc. Season 4 starts off with the World War II. Ends with let's see, we also get the 2 offshoot episodes. Season 3 has the offshoot for Mirror, right? Mirror? Or that's 4 as well. Fuck.
That would be season 4. It's okay.
Oh, fuck it. You know, I guess I'm more versed in season 4 because I did not care for season 3 whatsoever. I could not stand this indie arc. I didn't like it. I'm sorry. Let's go do this. You know, let's go into this expanse that's gonna fuck with our ship. But hey, now that we're in here, we can find this stuff that's gonna not let this expanse fuck with our ship. Okay, cool. Let's code our ship in it. Wait, it fucks with our first officer. Well, I guess we can't do it. I'm sorry. What do you mean? What happened to the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one? Right? What happened to that shit? Okay, fuck T'Pol. Put the shit on there. But okay, I keep my mouth shut.
Okay.
Let's see. You finally get T'Pol and Tucker. You get some Tucker T'Pol action.
Pucker.
And then they break
I'm
up.
coining the phrase right now.
And then we see
Pucker.
And then we see, what is it? We see episode in which an Enterprise decides to do the opposite thing. A version of the Enterprise decides to do the opposite thing, and so they stay out there.
Timey-wimey.
Yeah. So they stay out there, disconnected for like years and years and years, and he almost made me say it, you dick. T'Pol and Tucker have a child together.
Pucker have a child.
You
hate it, but you almost kind of like it.
Yeah. Dear God.
Let me just say it again. Pucker.
To pucker your lips and kiss my ass. Okay.
I didn't even think of that before, like right now. Like I just came up with that.
To pucker or not to pucker? That is the question. And it seriously was a question. Let's see all of season 3 after they break up, because we probably shouldn't do this.
And then season 4 it's the same. Well, they won't they? Until he died. Until they technically, quote unquote, had a child, and then yes, he died several years later.
Yeah.
They had a child. Not technically, they had. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Right. That
was an interesting little like 3-episode arc. That's all it was. I mean, it was like cool. 3-episode arc, and then the finale.
Yeah, and then it's cool to see Dukat out of the makeup, but at the same time, just give me Dukat. I mean, you've already given me the Borg, you've already given me the Ferengi. Just go for broke.
I mean, bring me a Cardassian. Kind of have a logical explanation. I really can't think of a logical explanation that encounters Enterprise encountering the Cardassians. Granted, they did encounter the Ferengi, and they're technically in kind of the same area of space, more or less.
Right. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Just go for broke. Give me the Cardassians. I'm sure they'd find some bullshit ass way to explain it away. But that's Enterprise
the
for you.
Borg are the only ones that have like an actual logical, makes sense explanation as to why they're there.
Fair enough. I'll give you that. I will give you that.
We can thank old Johnny Luck Pickard for that one.
Yeah. But I will say,
anyway,
all the hate that the final episode gets irritates the hell out of me, because that is the only episode I truly love from Enterprise.
That was actually like one of the ones that like I actually like. It felt like a good closure almost. Not for Tucker. Right. Not for Tucker. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm still pissed about that. But
yeah, like if everyone hates that episode just because Tucker dies, then I fully understand it, because I can't stand Tucker dying either. Like I don't like this crew. Okay, I don't like this crew. I don't like this show, per se. I don't hate it. It's not my vibe, right? It's not my personal favorite. So
right.
I still don't want Tucker to die. Tucker was probably one of my favorites. So I'll tell you, my favorite was
one out of them all. Like
my favorite's Hoshi, but that's just because
she's hot.
She's hot. Goddamn, she's hot. Especially that
commit some more HR violations there, buddy.
Especially that Mirror episode. Look, she walking around with nothing but a bra. Motherfucker, you got me fucked up. You thinking I'm not staring? Oh. You really like this episode of Enterprise, don't you? You damn right I do, baby girl. You gonna look at me? Hell no.
Shit.
Again, fucking. I didn't like Tucker died, but I loved it because it felt like a next gen episode. That's what it really felt like, and that's my
set in a next gen episode. I mean,
right.
That's probably
which is probably why it feels like one.
It's probably why.
Yeah. but it felt very much like a next gen episode. It felt very much like classic Trek to me. So it was like a breath of fresh air after all this madness that I've had to put up with.
Felt very golden age. Felt very golden age.
Yeah, and then the very ending of that episode, how they end it. You're building this whole time with Riker, trying to figure out what the last, what Archer's about to say, what the words are, so that Riker could go deliver his speech perfectly. So what does Archer say at the beginning of the Federation? And while you never hear the words, really, they don't say this is what he said. It alludes to the thing we hold most dear, or at least I hold most dear when I think of Star Trek, is what Archer says at the very beginning of the Federation, and it is space, the final frontier. And then hearing it go from...
I think what he said in his speech, just because Picard and Kirk said the other two, I think what Archer specifically said in his speech was to boldly go where no one has gone before part.
Right.
That's just me playing semantics, but yeah.
Right. But even still, and then to hear Picard kick it off one more time, and then from Picard to go to Kirk, and then from Kirk to Archer, just perfection. I couldn't have done it better myself. That scene had me in fucking tears. And Hannah goes, "So you finally like it?" I was like, "I like that."
I like that.
I couldn't give it to her. I couldn't give it to her.
You just can't. You can't admit that she's won.
No, I can't. But that's, so far that's been her favorite series. But we still haven't finished the original series. We still haven't gotten through the movies and to the other stuff. Like, we're still in the early stages of Star Trek. So, hopefully give her some time, I can win her over. Okay. The Mirror episodes. Fucking love those.
Those were like the best episode. Like, to me, it's like the second best episodes of the entire series, mostly because I like the Borg. That's my whole thing. That's my wheelie deal. But yeah, I would consider those probably the best received episodes of the entire series. Was the In a Mirror Darkly parts 1 and 2.
Yeah. I hate that we didn't get more with that. I hate that, we didn't get to finish the story arc
that at one point.
Yeah. Of Defiant making it all the way back to Earth. And then also getting to see Captain Archer die, just because I have such a beef with Captain Archer. Getting to see him die was just, thank you. Like, finally, someone shut him up.
Yeah, it took a little bit, though.
But, Travis Mayweather in that episode. Dear God, there's not a character I would fear more than Travis Mayweather. Travis, I think, in that episode reminds me a lot of Sulu. And I'll tell you why.
Like Mirror Sulu or regular like Prime Universe Sulu?
Regular Prime Universe Sulu, and I'll tell you why. Because Sulu, normally, he's just a laid back, let it be, pilot of the Enterprise. But you piss him off, and this is shown especially in the Kelvin timeline, you piss him off, his finger's on that button, and he's gonna press it. And I love him for it. I love him for it. And it's just Travis Mayweather feels the exact same to me. In both Mirror and in the Prime Universe, he feels the exact same to me of like, you know what, he's just a laid back, cool, let it be kind of dude, but fuck it. And then the Mirror episode showed us what would happen if Travis decided to say, fuck it. And it's scary. It's scary shit because you're like, oh my God, he gonna kill he killed us. He gonna kill everybody.
Like that man
and
is
then
terrifying. And he's banging Hoshi. What the fuck?
Man.
Or maybe Hoshi's banging him. I don't know.
Either way, he's getting it in Hoshi, and I'm jealous. Okay.
I can't say I blame you.
But, as always, I've got my article ready.
Oh, boy.
Mine, we get to play our favorite game. Did we or did we not actually know these? For those of you that want to find the article, I'm going to tell you the real name, and then I'm going to tell you my name. For it. It's from thegamer.com. It is 25 Secrets You Didn't Know About Star Trek Enterprise by Guy Desmarais, published March 26th of 2018. Now, for some fucked off reason, my shit won't let me go past number 6. So I've dubbed it the 20 Secrets You Didn't Know About Star Trek Enterprise. Since we won't be hearing the last 5.
Just in case.
So here we go. For a long time, Enterprise has had the sad distinction of being the series responsible for getting Star Trek off of television after a remarkable run of 18 years straight. Its production from 2001 to 2005 was in constant danger of being shut down by network executives. Longtime fans were divided as a prequel to the original series. It was expected that Enterprise would contain more familiar characters and settings, as well as copious amounts of fan service. Instead, Enterprise tried to carve its own identity in the first 3 seasons before finally embracing its heritage in the final stretch. Unfortunately, it was too late to save the series by that point. I got to agree with that. In all honesty, I think season 4 was where Star Trek Enterprise really started to find its foot. Because those first 2 seasons definitely feel a hell of a lot more like the first 2 seasons of Next Gen.
I was about to say, well, up until that point, up until about season 3, those first 2 seasons, it was just called Enterprise. It wasn't called Star Trek Enterprise. It was just called Enterprise. That was it.
That's true. The only thing linking it to Star Trek was the fact that they were calling themselves Starfleet and everything else.
Right.
but yeah, and like I said, it just those first two seasons feel a lot more like the first two seasons of Next Gen, where they're trying to figure out where the fuck they're gonna go, what they're gonna do, and then season 3 feels a lot like a continuation of the Dominion War. Just they can't be a part of the Dominion War, so what do they got? They got the Xindi.
They came up with the Xindi.
Yeah. So season 4 I felt was the best season. It is my favorite season, and yeah, sad to see that it ended there. With its attempts to court casual Star Trek fans as well as those who had never watched an episode before, Enterprise alienated its core audience, and it showed in the ratings. Though it ended up gaining a bit more respectability in subsequent years, it is still widely regarded as the worst series to bear the venerated franchise's name. And I'll remind you again, this was written in 2018 during Discovery's run. So Discovery hadn't earned its title yet. So it's now regarded as the second worst series to bear the venerated franchise's name. So the writers and showrunners certainly have their fair share to blame to shoulder. The amount of drama Enterprise had to survive just to get on the screen is truly astounding. In that spirit, we found the 25 craziest facts that best illustrate the troubles that besiege the series. 4 seasons might seem short for a Star Trek property, but after reading this, you might think it's a wonder Enterprise survived as long as it did. And 4 seasons is honestly better than the original series got, so we'll give it its 4 seasons. It's not short. It's just average.
I mean, it's like happy medium, I guess, between say original series and Golden Age Trek.
Yeah,
because every subsequent series got 7 seasons up until Enterprise, which got 4, and then 5 became the normal.
Yeah. 25 or 20, if you ask me. Not your typical Vulcan. No shit. Sorry, did I say that too soon? Jolene Balak, who played T'Pol on Enterprise, was the perfect actress to cast as the second lead on a Star Trek series.
She's also the second one to be hired for sex appeal.
Yeah. She is self-admitted Trekkie and has been a fan of the series her whole life. In different interviews, she has stated that her favorite character has always been Spock, so she was understandably stoked when she got to play a Vulcan. After all, she had a pretty solid idea of how her character should be carrying herself. The series writers had other plans, however, as Enterprise's Vulcans were different from those that came before. T'Pol would spend the series losing her control, expressing feelings, and acting generally un-Vulcan. This was almost blasphemous to Balak's eyes, and she would later admit that she hated the way her character was handled throughout the seasons. And yes, I have to agree. From the jump, I couldn't stand the Vulcans in this show, and that is probably one of the things that pissed me off so much with Enterprise when I tried to watch it years ago. Because again, admittedly, this is watching with Hannah is the first time I've made it to season 4.
Right.
I can't stand, because when you want to sit there and say that these Vulcans are just like, the original series Vulcans, they're in check of their emotions and blah, 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 yet every single one of them acts like they got a fucking stick up their ass and they're always pissed off about something. It doesn't feel like they're in check of their emotions. And we never really get a good explanation for it either. I did not care for the way the Vulcans were portrayed throughout the series. I think it could have been done a hell of a lot better. Or just say, hey, since we're so far from Kirk's time, they haven't gone, Kolonar's not a common practice yet. I mean, it still pisses us off considering Kolonar's been the common practice for thousands of years on Vulcan. I don't know. Could have been something.
I mean, I enjoyed the Vulcans more so. I enjoyed to, not like them, but
Yeah.
Oh, yes. My somewhat be the word. My somewhat
Be right back.
accepting brain, as it were. Knowing Star Trek history as I do, especially these days. My explanation for it is they had just come out of a quote unquote revolution of sorts. Look it up here. Good old memory alpha. Go.
Okay, sorry about that.
You're good.
Christian was calling my name. Number 19. At least it's in good company.
Okay. So my accepting brain and knowing Star Trek lore as I do. Like I enjoyed the Vulcans, and I knowing the lore as I do, I understood it a little bit better. But like they had just come out of a quote unquote revolution, maybe about 100, 200 years ago, from the perspective of Enterprise. So I can't. So like my once again overly accepting brain, because hot take, I like Star Trek 5. Just kind of explains it as like they haven't grown into the Vulcans that they would appear as in guess not future installments, past installments that were set in the future. Whatever.
I hate other installment Trek.
But that's how my brain rationalizes that. So like it made it a lot easier for me to accept the Vulcans in Enterprise.
I guess if you put it like that, I can get past it a little bit. I will say though, getting to see Gary Graham, I love him as an actor. He's been in some phenomenal works. Some of my favorite pieces of media include Gary Graham. So getting to see him as a Vulcan in Star Trek was actually kind of cool. I was like, hey, I know you. Which I mean, by all means, funny enough, if I had watched Enterprise when it first came out, or as it was coming out, that would have been my introduction to Gary Graham. Funnily enough, I would have seen him in that before anything else, but I didn't. Just because, again, my family was, my dad was the only thing that exists is the original series, and my mom was comfortable with Next Gen, so she never saw anything else.
It's a very commonplace for, I want to say, like older Trek fans. Catch my drift there.
Yeah.
Very, very, very commonplace.
Number 19 or 24. At least it's in good company. When a series is widely regarded as having ruined a storied franchise, there usually aren't that many positive things to be said about its existence. In the case of Enterprise, though, I would personally argue that it is significantly better than its reputation would let you presume. There's one particular fact that can be seen in a good light. In fact, it's a little bit of trivia that puts it in the same category as the beloved original series. As it is, Enterprise was the first series since the original series to be canceled before completing the now standard 7-season run. The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager all got to complete their story in the same amount of time, despite disappointing ratings in the case of the last two. Imagine how bad things had to be for Enterprise to get cut like that. Number 18, and I'm going to go off of the number that I truly believe that it is, considering I cannot see the last five. So number 18, I've got a bad feeling about this. It has to be a bad sign for the series when even the creators think it should. Even the creator thinks it shouldn't exist. Rick Berman, who was a creator and co-showrunner of Enterprise, did not even want to work on the show in the first place. After having worked on Star Trek for 14 years of his life, he thought that the franchise might need a little break. After all, the TNG movies had been making less and less money over the years, while Voyager had finished its run with lower ratings than the previous series. It's with that in mind that he initially refused Paramount's idea for a new show, asking them to give it a few years before attempting another series. The network made it clear that they had other people in mind to work on the project if Berman would not. So in the end, he went along with the idea. That one I truly did not know. I didn't know that he didn't want to do it in the first place. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense that he wouldn't, just for the simple fact, I mean, yeah, look at everything. The ratings were constantly dropping. Trek was falling off. It was made clear Trek was falling off.
We were entering.
I don't. Going back to an earlier one, I would not say that this show was the reason Trek never came back afterwards. Mm-hmm. I would say it was just very much, hey, they realized Trek needs a break, which is why we had about 4 years in between two different installments, two different universes of Trek. Because it'd be 4 years in between Enterprise and the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah.
Star Trek 2009.
Roughly about, about 4.5 years or so.
Yeah.
I can do the math in my head.
Because again, Enterprise went off in 2005. Star Trek would come on big screen in 2009. In between the Kelvin timeline and Discovery is a bigger gap, but it just kind of depends, Now, if you want to keep it in TV, then yeah, Enterprise to Discovery was 12 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in that 12 years, Trek really, in that 12 years is where I think everything started to change for Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Because beforehand, Trek people were seen as one thing and one thing only. You can watch any piece of media and see how they pictured Trek fans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any of them, especially Family Guy, which is one of my favorites. When they have the Star Trek convention in an episode of Family Guy, you get to see what they really think about Trek fans and how we were pictured. And we were pictured for that for a fucking reason. I'm not going to lie and say we weren't, older Trek fans weren't like that. Because
the stereotype is very well earned.
If there's one thing I've learned about stereotypes, the stereotypes are valid. Okay, they suck.
As much as you don't want them to be valid, they're valid.
Yeah.
I almost feel bad saying that, but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah. But like, if it wasn't based in some sort of reality, it wouldn't be a stereotype.
Exactly.
That's how I mean it. If it wasn't based in some sort of reality, it really wouldn't be a stereotype, and that's the truth of it. One of my other favorite things talks about how Trek fans was when in Futurama, when Fry and Al Gore and Stephen Hawking and Nichelle Nichols get trapped outside of the space-time continuum, and the only things out of Nichelle Nichols' mouth, and this is Nichelle Nichols voicing Nichelle Nichols, mind you, is, oh great, it's the 78 San Diego Comic-Con all over again. or something like that, something along those lines. Like, oh my god. So, um, but yeah, I think in that 12 years that it was off of television, it cemented itself the way Star Wars was able to.
Mm-hmm.
Because Star Wars has a roughly the same timeline. 1977 to 84, 85, somewhere in there was Return.
Somewhere.
But yeah, the 70s to 80s, and then you fall off until 1999. You go to 2005, and then you get Dick for until 2016. And in that time,
2016 for the announcement, 2017 for the actual show to come out.
Yeah. And in that time, Star Wars got to cement itself as a phenomenal piece of media, something that everybody wanted to have. Oh, the I am your father, thing. Oh, everybody's been trying to recreate that for years because, how genius that was, how mind-blowing that was. I mean, even Star Wars tried to recreate it in 2005 with Revenge. Having us grow up that, oh, Anakin's awesome, we love Anakin, and then Anakin turns into Darth Vader, we're like, but it's still not as big as the reaction of, no, I am your father.
That's it, yeah, because that was the first time anybody had done that. I feel like the twist for Darth Vader didn't hit quite as hard because we knew it was coming.
Right.
The reason why I think was the bigger twist as opposed to the actual turning itself. Like why Anakin's flipped over to the dark. But we're not here to talk about Star Wars. But
right. We could do that on another podcast, by the way, for wanting to catch that one. It's Nerdstown on Sunday.
Okay, I was about to say, we're not doing another one, are we? God damn it.
No. Yeah, we're doing a Star Wars podcast now. We're starting that next Tuesday.
I will come down there and I will chop your dick off.
But yeah, Star Trek got to do the same thing, because by the time next year to come out, everybody, Star Trek the original series was already cemented in gold. It was pinnacle, it was peak, it was never to be done again. You couldn't get better than that. You couldn't get better ratings. You could not do TV like that again, because not only did, every important figure in the US watch that show, every household watched that show. It was something that, the only other time something like that would be recreated would again be Star Wars in 77 with A New Hope. The entire country went out to go see that movie. So, it was this is peak, you're not going to get better with that. Then the movies drop and we're like, all right, that was okay. And then Wrath of Khan, and we're like, okay, yeah, we're back, let's go. And the next gen, and it's like,
and then two very big twists in that movie. In Star Trek 2, two very, very big twists that I would say almost had the same effect as I Am Your Father.
Yeah. And I could agree with that. I could absolutely, honestly agree with that too.
Like not the same kind of not the same kind of impact, but a very similar one.
Yeah.
Just because of the nature of the twists themselves.
Right. And then all of a sudden we get this bald guy to appear. And it's like, oh, well, fuck this bald fuck. We love this bald fuck. He is the greatest thing since the fucking, we swear to God it's a toupee, but he swears up and down it wasn't wearing Kirk. and then they get their movies, and it's like, yay! And then it's Deep Space Nine, and it's like, he's black. That's all the show has going for him. But Jadzia is hot. And then, hey, she's a woman.
That's about all she's got going for her.
It's a black Vulcan. Look at that guy. Yeah. She's a woman. It's a black Vulcan there, guys. Hey, the Borg chick's hot. All right. Scott Bakula. Wasn't he on that? Shh, don't talk about it. But I swear to God, he was in that other sci-fi. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Zip it, you.
Yeah. You know, it's like, okay, the ratings are dropping for that. The ratings are dropping.
Boobies.
We're gone. And then the 30th anniversary, then the 40th anniversary, then the 50th anniversary. And I'll tell you, as someone who went to one of the 50th anniversary tours with Creation Entertainment, I had just watched Deep Space Nine for the first time. I was starting Voyager for the first time. I still didn't know shit about Star Trek Enterprise other than asking my mom and dad about it, which they both said it sucks ass. I thought that was just the norm for Star Trek fans, because every time I look up Star Trek online, 2 shows appeared. Just 2. The original series and Next Generation. Going to this con showed me other Deep Space Nine fans, Voyager fans who will fight tooth and nail to defend Voyager and everything that happens in Voyager, including Tuvix for some fucked off reason.
That's a big debate. A bigger debate than one would think it is.
Right. And then Enterprise fans. The only 2, so for who all was there was, you had Walter Koenig and William Shatner would be there Sunday and only Sunday for the original series. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you would have Gates McFadden, Jonathan Frakes, Michael Dorn, LeVar Burton from Next Gen.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Matthews, Max Gordon-Schick, Aaron Eisenberg, and then I can't remember the name, so I'm just going to call them Gowron and Martok.
What is his name? I could have told you like 5 seconds ago.
Right. But Gowron and Martok from Deep Space Nine would be there, and those were the actors. Oh, and then you had Tucker and Malcolm, Trip and Malcolm from Enterprise. And those were the people that were there. Those were the main Trek actors that were there all weekend. Now you had others. You had like some people that were guest stars on Trek. Some of them just played background aliens that were there. You know, as you do with every con, like they tried to get everybody they could together for Dallas to make this possible. I'm there for Next Gen. I'm there for Deep Space Nine. Those are the 2 shows that I've watched. Those are the 2 that I absolutely fucking adore. I'm there for them. So I'm hopping through, and Max Gordon-Schick is sitting right next to Trip and Malcolm. So Rom is sitting next to Trip and Malcolm. And I'm talking to Max because he's got... Oh, and you had Sean Kinney, who played DePaul in a few episodes of the original series, but he's more famous for playing Captain Pike when he's found alive in the wheelchair. That's also important. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But anyway, I'm sitting there talking to Max, and he goes, you know, so what all have you seen of Trek? You look very new to this. You look very brand new. I've been doing these cons for hundreds of years, if you'd believe it. And you, I can tell, have never been to one a day in your life, and you look very new to all of this. And I said, well, this is my first time ever going to a convention. This is my first time, you know, I just got done watching Deep Space Nine, and I fell in love with it phenomenally. At this point in time, I've already gotten my autograph. We're just having a conversation now because no one's in line behind me. I've got all the time in the world with him. And he's genuinely curious. Well, Trip and Malcolm are listening in as well, and they're genuinely curious as well. While their lines had been full, they finally get a break. And they go, so, have you watched Enterprise yet? I was like, honestly, I haven't. They're like, oh, okay, well, have you heard about it? And this is where I lied, because again, I'm not going to tell them to their face, and my parents hate their fucking show. I go, no, I've never heard about it before.
Like,
have you heard about it? Yeah, I heard about it. They say it sucks. But I got, Doc was like, yeah, that's pretty typical. A lot of the newer fans don't know about us. They only know the big guys. But Trip goes, well, hey, when you get home, I want you to watch Enterprise. I go, okay. I've been going in the order that they came out. And he goes, well, how are you on Voyager? I sent him towards the end. He goes, well, you're about to start us anyways. Why don't you go home and watch us? Tell me what you think. Mind you, this is Sunday, so I won't get the chance to see him again. This is the end of the con. After this, I went home. I tried to watch Enterprise. I got 3 episodes in. I was like, fuck this shit. I don't like it.
Then he met my happy ass.
Yeah.
It was like, you need to see this shit again.
But, again, this is me. Again, I want to say that this was me very young, very brand new to Trek, and this was me just on the other side of having learned there was something past the next generation. So, I think having been versed in it now and giving it its time, but again, going to this convention, it really showed me that Enterprise fans love their show. When it comes to Enterprise, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. If you say you're an Enterprise fan, you love it. There is no, oh, I like it. No, I love it. There are things, yes, I might change about it, but those are very minimal, and that's a different list that I don't want to talk about. Those lines for Trip and Malcolm, those 2 lines were full damn near all weekend. I got 5 minutes to talk to Trip because 5 minutes is all he had in between the last signature and his first one. I got 20 with Max Gordon-Chick, who played Rom. I got 30 with LeVar Burton. I got 30 with Aaron Eisenberg. Mm-hmm. To tell you how popular they were compared to how I was thinking those tables were going to be empty. The tables that got the most out of anybody. I'm going to put William Shatner up first. Walter Koenig behind him, because they were the only 2 from the original series that were there that weekend. And behind them was Jonathan Frakes, Gates McFadden, Michael Dorn, Trip, Malcolm, and then everybody else. At the very bottom of the list was Sean Kinney. Surprisingly, Sean Kinney was at the very bottom of the list, which for me, being an original series fan, I would have, I did. I took fucking, I saw him multiple times throughout the entire event. So much so that he, had told me, you remind me very much of my son. So that's fucking cool. But yeah, I really didn't think Enterprise, got as big as it did, but man, I was wrong. Number 20, no, see, hold on, fuck me, that's 20, 19, 18, number 17. Number 17, keep your hands off my Trek, and the picture they have here is very fucked off Daniels. I love this. I'm going to show this. This is hilarious to me.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Um, on top of forcing a new Star Trek into this world, despite protests from people who had experience with the franchise, Paramount executives had a whole bunch of crazy ideas which did not really help matters. Some of them, thankfully, were unanimously rejected by writers, such as the idea of bringing several pop acts of the time to perform on the show in universe.
I wonder how that would have worked.
Maybe like Futurama? Heads in jars. It's the Beastie Boys.
I was like just like looking back in my head, like looking back at the show, like I wonder how they would have fit that in.
Right. Like, I mean,
I'm thinking
you
back
would have
to
had
all the episodes I can remember that I guess would have had technically a live performance, but I just don't see it working.
There's not many, and like the only thing I could think of is you'd end up having an episode of Star Trek that is nothing more than a fucking music video.
There is an episode out there like that.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, I know.
It was good, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But on the other hand, they successfully...
Star Trek Enterprise did not need that. That probably would have killed it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That would have taken it out. That would have taken it out into the backyard, hit it over the head with a shovel, proceeded to violate it with said shovel, and then shoot it in the head with the shotgun.
And then buried it in the backyard with a tombstone that gets a split-second screen that the director tells us about years later. Thanks, Zack Snyder.
And then they cut to black.
On the other hand, they successfully imposed the temporal Cold War, which, with hindsight, is a low in Enterprise history. Personally, now this comes from me having played Star Trek Online.
You're welcome.
Personally, I kind of fuck with the temporal Cold War,
and a lot of people don't.
Because I mean, Star Trek hits. I mean, ever since the original series, Star Trek has been going back in time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of my favorite episodes of the first season of Star Trek: The Original Series is the where they go back to 1930s Earth.
City on the Edge of Forever.
You know, yes.
The Guardian of Forever. Like he said.
Yeah, I fucking love that episode. You know, we see them do it in the fucking movies. You know, with Star Trek 4. We see it with The Next Generation. They go back to the fucking 80s because that's what time it was filmed in. We see...
When did they go back to the 80s?
I think so. Or maybe I'm thinking of fucking Deep Space Nine. But either way, you know, Deep Space... You know, Star Trek Next Gen, they go back in time.
I mean, Voyager went back to the 90s.
Yeah, Voyager goes back to the fucking 90s.
Enterprise went to... Well, about a year ago.
Yeah. Enterprise goes back, you know, to the 40s, and then as well as several other years. So the temporal Cold War, getting to see the future, I think was kind of cool for me. Personally, I enjoyed getting to go to the future.
Mm-hmm.
And also getting to go back to the first episode was kind of cool, or right before the first episode. That was cool as well.
They do that.
I think that was like end of season 3 or beginning of season 4. They go back to... It's one of the last temporal Cold War episodes.
Huh. I'll have to...
Where Archer wakes up.
I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah. Because Archer wakes up like the day before the mission.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, I'm about to get a phone call from blah, blah, blah. And he's about to tell me that this is going to happen. And
like I said, I believe it's just been a minute since I've seen it. So I'm going to go back and check that one out because I don't remember that.
This storyline was created because the executives were afraid that a prequel would not be futuristic enough and would leave the viewers bored.
can kind of see that. I mean, if you try to make Enterprise look like it came before the original series, both technologically and, well, logically, you're gonna make it look like the old. Not to say these aren't bad, but you'll make it look like the old like 50s style sci-fi whatnot.
Yeah,
And I can see
get
how
you.
viewers in
yeah,
2001 to 2005 would get a little bored with that.
that's fair. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I think if they could have done it right.
Right. No, and you're absolutely right. I was just like,
Yeah.
my brain was just like, I could see how people would get bored
No,
with
no.
that.
I mean, I totally agree with you. I just think if they could have done it right, it would have been fine. But I get it. It is only in season 3 that they finally gave the showrunners more freedom, because they have basically given up on the series several times by that point. Jesus, thanks. Number 16, early meddling. The first season of Enterprise was going to be relatively risky before executives interfered. Despite being a spin-off series based on space exploration, the first season was going to take place entirely on Earth. Vulcans would have been there, of course, watching over as humans were building their finest starship to date. There would have been a whole lot of butting heads, some learning from the alien visitors, with the Enterprise ultimately launching in the season finale. The main bad guys would have been the xenophobic human faction, which ended up appearing late into the 4th season, as they would have felt that exposing Earth to possibly hostile species was a risk. In the end, the network basically said the show is called Enterprise, so launch Enterprise in the first episode, so that's what we got. I don't know, kind of with the way season 4 felt for me, again, especially with the xenophobic human factions that appeared in season 4. I think that as its first season would have been phenomenal. Honestly,
yeah, no, like as you're reading that, I'm like, that would have been actually cool to see. Other than like the few flashbacks we got over the 4 seasons, because we did get a few of them. Not very many, I'll admit, but we did get a few flashbacks to.
Yeah, and I will say, some of my favorite episodes are the flashback episodes in which Archer's trying to get the spot on Enterprise.
Like that episode in season 3 when he finds out the other guy is died in an accident.
Yeah. Yes.
That was a great episode. That was probably one of season 3's stronger episodes, I would say.
Oh, I'm getting me a drink.
Yeah. Good episode.
Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, those episodes in which, we're trying to find out who's going to fly the Enterprise. Is the Warp 5 engine going to work? Even that line. Those whole interconnecting flashbacks. I love those. Got to be some of my favorite episodes from that season. So to say that that was not going to work or whatever, whoever said that, you failed, because I think if you would have started Enterprise where it finished, it would have been, I think, an entirely different fucking show. I think it might have even fucking saved the franchise hell at that point in time.
We might have actually gotten a full 7 seasons.
Right.
And then would again, like I said, tell the story, some of the stories that we'll be going over a little later.
Yeah. You know, because my favorite season is the 4th season. You know, you get all the great episodes that make it feel like Trek in that season. So, number 15, the vote of confidence. Though they were giving more freedom to those actually producing the show by the 3rd season, network executives still had many ideas and demands for the Enterprise crew. Among them was an idea which would have completely changed the look of the show. Ooh. They wanted Scott Bakula's Captain Archer to be gone by the end of the season, to eventually be replaced by a younger face. Their suggestion was to have Archer sacrifice himself to save Earth near the end of the season, making place for a new character to take command and hopefully save the show. The showrunners felt that this would be like admitting that the show was terrible and did not work, so they stood behind Bakula and rejected the idea. Which, fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I give Archer a lot of shit. Again, I love Scott Bakula, always will. I give Archer a lot of shit, but I don't think that show would have worked with any other captain, with any other character. Even the episodes in which we didn't have Archer, really, you know, they kind of dropped off for me. They weren't some of my favorite episodes. I give Archer a lot of shit, but I think...
You give him a lot of shit, but you give him a lot of credit, too.
Right. Like, I could only see it with Archer. I don't think anybody else could have done the things that Archer went through. You know, there's no one better. No one better to command Enterprise other than Archer. And to replace Scott Bakula, you would have fucked everything. I mean, because admittedly, I guarantee Enterprise only had some of the viewers that it had because of Scott Bakula's fucking name.
I was about to say, now, if they had, and this doesn't come from my article, if they had done a, like, season 5, season 6, season 7, or something like that, and had him, like, retire, per se, and replace him with a new captain, I would accept that a lot more than them killing Archer.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm already pissed about that Tucker's death. We didn't need Archer's death. Goddamn.
Right. Like, yes, the episodes in which we got Archer's death were fun for me just because I love to give Archer shit.
Right.
That still irritated me when they weren't bringing him back right away. It's like, excuse me, though.
Like the one episode that explicitly fucking kills him, being the Mirror Universe episode, I still don't think the episode would have worked without Archer.
No. But also, Archer's death in that episode, I think, makes that episode better, too, though. Like, that's the only time Archer's death in an episode honestly helps the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I would say is the Mirror Universe episode. But number 14, subtlety is a lost art, and I don't know if it's just the suit, but she just looks wrong there. She looks very photoshopped.
What?
You know? Yeah.
What?
Yeah. While Paramount had some very strange ideas to try. Yeah.
I'm allowed
Paramount
to have
has
my
some very... Look, I did it to a bored girl when I was, 19, so...
We all did.
While Paramount had some strange ideas to try and improve the show's status, there's one change, which was at the behest of the producers, and not the network. Starting in season 3, the showrunners introduced a change of wardrobe for the ship's resident Vulcan. Their ill-fated decision was to give T'Pol more cleavage, a move which did not help the ratings at all and which was transparently unnecessary. Jolene Balak was once again completely against it, but her opinion was
like, God damn it. What are they, gay? That's fucked up. I shouldn't say things like that.
I mean, if you're gonna say it, at least say it like Zach Brannigan. What are you, gay?
What are you, gay? I did kind of say it like that, so
yeah,
I think it counts. What are you?
Every time I hear that phrasing, though, I go back to the Death by Snoo Snoo episode.
Oh.
Death by Snoo Snoo, yay! What are you, gay? Brendan Braga, the show's co-creator with Rick Berman, tried to justify it by saying that T'Pol had left the Vulcan High Command, therefore she needed a uniform that was more human to blend with the rest of the crew. Meanwhile, Ensign Hoshi Sato, a human, was still wearing the trademark unisex jumpsuit. That's because Brandon Braga is a piece of shit, but fuck him. You want sex appeal? I'll give you sex appeal. I'll show my ankles.
Oh boy.
How's that for sex appeal?
We're going to hell. Not that there was ever any doubt of that, but you know.
Number 13, desperation move. On top of the additional cleavage to T'Pol's uniform, the producers of the Enterprise had another idea to save the show at the start of the third season. When T'Pol's assets were not enough to raise the ratings, they retitled the show, starting with the third episode of the third season. The originally named Enterprise became Star Trek Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Paramount Studios were convinced that the show was bombing because people didn't know it was about Star Trek. How could you not? They were afraid that when people saw an ad for the show starring a giant spaceship called Enterprise, they would assume it was about something else entirely. They were wrong, obviously, and it was best illustrated by the fact that the series ratings were at their highest during the first season. Honestly, because again,
the dumbest thing I can think of.
When I'm staring at a giant ad of a giant spaceship named Enterprise, Star Trek is probably the first fucking thing that comes to mind.
I was about to say, and if you look at any of the promotional material from back then, it's got like all the cast in the typical like Star Trek marketing fashion, where they're all, you know, in like a little V type pattern, and you've got the ship right above. Like, how can you not figure that that's fucking Star Trek, man? I'm out.
Yeah, and then from day one, you've been hearing the words Starfleet, and the registry starts with a fucking N. And you can't say the NX was what caused it. No, because we had NX something. Fucking
we had the USS Excelsior NX 2000 in Star Trek 3.
That I was thinking Defiant, god damn it. NX Defiant.
NX 74205.
Yes. Fucking name was escaping me, god damn. But yeah, I was thinking fucking Defiant even in more recently in fucking Deep Space Nine, you know.
You even had an NX registry in Voyager somewhere. I think it was like the Prometheus. Yeah, the Prometheus and the Dauntless both had NX registries.
Right, so you can't say that, well, because it's labeled NX instead of NCC, people aren't going to fucking know. I'm sorry, I think they fucking will. First and foremost.
They don't have the standard like, Delta. We have actually stayed on topic for an hour.
Hell yeah, we're doing great. Like, and I've still got a long way to go.
Just like, I want to point that out before you move on to the next one.
Yeah, and we're going to stay there because I'm still on, you know, we still got a ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
Number 12, number 11, somewhere in there. It is always a risk when writing prequels for storied franchises, and Enterprise was no exception. The show totally broke the Star Trek community continuity several times, with the most severe infraction occurring in Season 2, episode of Regeneration. The episode introduces the Borg, way before the Next Generation's crew is supposed to encounter them nearly 200 years later. It isn't a small encounter either. The Borg are on Earth attacking scientists near the North Pole and alerting the rest of the Borg to the planet's existence. Even if we ignore the fact that the Enterprise crew had an easier time dispatching the Borg with their primitive technology than the TNG cast ever did, we're still left with only two explanations. Either Archer is terrible at writing reports, and the info on the Borg never made it to Starfleet, or Picard and the gang missed the Borg chapter in their history class.
We've talked about this.
We have.
For those of you who have missed that episode or just now joining us for the first time ever,
yeah,
here is the explanation for the Borg. And I might be making some monumental leaps in logic here, but that's what we're here for. So,
yeah.
The Borg being in the North Pole is not that big of a surprise if you know Star Trek like I do. Or even like Chris does at this point.
Yeah.
In the very well-acclaimed movie, Star Trek First Contact, the Borg arrive at Earth in the 21st century. Yes, the latter half of the 21st century. Is 2064.
Yeah, I was about to say it's 40 years from now. Mm-hmm. Or 39 years from now.
Yeah, April the 5th, 2065?
4.
Was it? Yeah, yeah, April the 5th, 2064. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And the Enterprise E destroys a Borg sphere in orbit above Earth. Now, it is absolutely and entirely possible that some of those pieces could have crash landed near the North Pole. Hence why we get the episode Regeneration that has scientists discovering something up in the North Pole. They don't know what it is quite at the beginning of the episode. As far as, and then they have their whole little adventure, go watch the episode. It's great. I love it. It's one of my it's my favorite episode of Enterprise. As far as the report writing goes, I think that it was covered up by Section 31. Put on your tinfoil hats here, people. Section 31 likes to cover up a lot of things, especially if they consider that thing a heinous threat to the Federation. Therefore, I think not anybody not hearing about it, it makes a lot more sense that Section 31, who did appear in Enterprise a few times, would have covered up the report about the Borg.
Which, mind you, don't we even get a plot point in which Daniels is technically Section 31?
No, it was Malcolm that was Section 31. Daniels is just a temporal operative.
That's right. That's right. But, okay.
Encyclopedic knowledge of Star Trek. It serves me well here, I will say.
Yeah. That, and then, like, you know, again, with... I don't know. I mean, that answer I accept, but there's, you know, others like the Ferengi that it's like, you know...
That one's a little harder to explain.
Yeah.
I haven't come up with a logical explanation for that one yet, but I will. Yeah. I will find it. It will take me a while, but I will find it, damn it.
Number 11. Oh, no, not again. The Enterprise's episode Extinction features members of the crew mutating into lizard people before being brought back to normal. The Voyager episode Threshold features Captain Janeway and Tom Paris mutating into salamanders and making babies. You might be noting some similarities between the episodes, and you would be right. Brandon Braga wanted to redeem what was seen as one of the worst episodes in Star Trek history. He had written Threshold, and he wanted a chance to do it right the second time around. Unfortunately, he failed once more, since Extinction is often cited on the same worst episodes list as its inspiration. Even LeVar Burton hated the episode as its director. He has said that he was ashamed to have been involved with it at all. And personally, I didn't care for that episode either. I think it was...
actually.
I think the idea for it is really cool. Like the idea is very cool.
Well,
but the way they went about it.
Okay. That'll accept. It's kind of surprising to hear that LeVar Burton didn't like the episode because he had a very similar episode in the Next Generation where he turned into a weirdish lizard, not lizard type person, but he turned into a weirdish alien, much like the crew of the NX-01 did.
Yeah.
Who knows? He may not be proud of that episode either.
Right. Yeah.
So there have been at least 3 episodes I can think of like that.
Yeah, and like I said, each time that it's been done, I think the way it's.
I think TNG did it best, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, TNG did it best, but I think Enterprise had the best storyline for it,
and
it could have been done. It could have been done beautifully if they not did it the way they did. I think
the Voyager episode was kind of like did I do that?
Yeah. Right.
Enterprise, it was kind of like
Yeah.
It was just kind of a meh kind of deal. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the episode, but I know a lot of people.
Right. Number 10, inspired by true events, and this has the picture from season 3 of the Xindi fucking up Florida.
Oh boy.
There. The third season of Enterprise took some risks by taking a darker turn. It features a season-long storyline where the Enterprise ventures into the Delphic expansion to find the Xindi, a species who attacked Earth and made millions of victims with a gigantic laser. The writers admitted that they were inspired by the 9/11 attacks, which were barely a year old at the time of writing the episodes. The parallels were obvious, with some main characters being directly affected and losing family members as a result of the Xindi's plot. This dark version of Star Trek also reminded a lot of fans of Deep Space Nine, which had tremendous success with the Dominion Wars arc. Though the characters on Enterprise had to do some pretty nasty stuff to survive the expanse, such as stranding the crew of another ship so they could continue their mission, it made for a much more interesting season. I'm going to talk on this because I think this is very important here. 9/11 changed everything when it comes to the U.S.
Well, and that's a very interesting thing, because I didn't know that before. I didn't know that particular part of it was based on that.
I had my guesses when I was watching season 3, because I was like, hey, this show was filming in the 90s, but it was airing in the 2000s. So I kind of had my guess. Yeah, because typically with those shows, with shows that were on the air around 2001, especially those airing in September of 2001 or shortly thereafter, filming in September of 2001, you can tell when it happened based on the time of the show. September 11th, 2001 changed everything. And it just changed flight travel. It didn't just change this, that, and the other. Well, go in there. I'll be there in a second. I mean, it changed everything. TV shows got a little bit darker because, how do we talk about this? How do we bring this up? 3,000 people just lost their lives. Millions of families are now grieving the loss of those 3,000 people. There's not a person in the U.S., I don't think, wasn't affected by those attacks because of the amount of people that were killed and the fact that even if you didn't have a direct relative infected,
who did,
you either knew someone who did or you watched it. You watched it on TV because it all started when, hold on. Um, because it all started with the North Tower getting hit. And there was roughly about 30 minutes between the North Tower and the South Tower getting hit. And all we knew for one thing or another was, holy shit, the North Tower is on fire. People are saying it's a plane. People are saying it's a bomb. Nobody knows the reality of the situation yet.
Nobody knows.
But here is the live image in downtown New York. Here is the North Tower on fire, and then there on national television, before they could censor it, before they could take it off TV, we saw it. The second plane hit the South Tower, and it was then and there. Then an hour later, we get reports of the Pentagon. A couple hours after that, we get reports of the plane going down to that field in Pennsylvania. Travel changed immediately.
Everything.
TV. I remember. I listened to the Smallville podcast that Tom and Michael have.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember listening to one of the episodes in the first season. They were filming during those attacks, and they heard everything. They saw, like, Tom was like, I'm pretty sure I saw one of the planes fly over us before it hit the fucking towers. Pretty sure it had to have been. And I'm like, holy shit. To say that, like, they were in the flight path of that plane. You can tell. Again, you can tell. Friends, their episode is when Rachel is going to the airport, and Ross is trying to get her back. That is their 9/11 episode. There's supposed to be a joke in there in which Chandler is supposed to say something, but Chandler, we all know Chandler. He doesn't make a joke that episode about the airport, and that's why.
Well,
Smallville,
but they took it out pretty much as soon as it happened, because that was the episode that was going to film or that was going to air that week, I think. And they're like, "Oh shit, we got to take this out right now."
Yeah. So that was that episode. But yeah, I kind of figured that that was going to be this episode. That this episode was based off of that, or was like, the dark turn on this episode, having Tucker be genuinely affected by this because his sister, his whole family was gone in this attack. It was very much, he had the tones of, my family had, kind of like the tones that my family had. One of the 343 firefighters that we lost in those attacks, in the towers, I'm related to one of them. I think he's like my cousin or my uncle. I don't entirely know. He's kind of distant family, but family nonetheless. We lost him. My dad got out in 97 when I was born, out of the military, and he went back in shortly after those attacks. I remember he left the house that day. As soon as the second plane hit, he left the house. And my mom was just wondering where the fuck he went, and he came home with like a bunch of stuff that he was going to have to do to get back in shape for the military and all this stuff. The other to rejoin. And I think he ended up rejoining in 05. I want to say 04, 05. There's somewhere in there that he ended up rejoining, and it was because of that.
And that was the case for a lot of people then too.
Yeah.
I was about to say, any images of the towers that were in media at the time, just anything, any images, any kind of anything like that, it was all taken out real quick.
Oh yeah. And funny enough, I mean, yeah, there's like 15 years in between the towers and my time being a firefighter, but it really led to me wanting to be a firefighter. I mean, I was going to go military because of it, but found out I have asthma. I tried like hell to hide that shit, but they found out I had asthma, and I said, so sit my ass home. and I joined the fire, became a firefighter instead because I still wanted to do something. I wanted to help my community, and it indirectly led to me being a firefighter. It's still indirectly leading people to do things. I'll be right back though. Before we get on to the next one, gotta help Hannah with something real quick. So I'm sorry I've been leaving you so much this episode, man.
Yeah, give me plenty of opportunities to talk here. But yeah, I mean, it's also interesting to see some of the media that came before that happened. Like, you could tell what came before and what came after. Especially you could tell what came right before and what came right after. Very, very interesting. Not to try and put that particular event in a positive light per se. But from a historical standpoint, it's a very interesting shift. So, yeah. Else.
Okay. Sorry about that. Hannah's unfortunately getting sick, so
Always fun.
she's on that. Yeah. Can't remember what these fucking numbers anymore, so I'm just gonna go off of what they actually say. Number 14,
anyway.
All In. Yeah, Captain Archer is of course played by Scott Bakula, who brings in every man's sensibility to the job, which previous Star Trek shows did not have. It's a nice change of pace from the usual heroic Starfleet for life type, but this particular casting almost didn't happen. It would have been bad, since Rick Berman admitted that they had no one else as a backup if Bakula had refused the role.
It's my turn. I'm going to go use the bathroom.
Okay, they wanted him so badly that they did not bother auditioning anyone else for the role. The negotiations took so long that it delayed the start of the production, since Bakula had already signed on for a CBS series called Late Bloomers. Thankfully, that one did not make it past the pilot stage. In the end, it is the co-founder of UPN, the network hosting enterprise, which convinced Bakula to take the job. They were longtime friends, having worked together on Quantum Leap in the past. Well, let's go back to the Starfleet for life type that you wanted to say. Of course, they're not. I mean, of course, Bakula is not the Starfleet for life type. I mean, Starfleet has just been created more or less by the time the show starts. But by the time we see the Enterprise launch, sure, it's been around for at least, I think they say, 50, 60 years that Starfleet's been around. But, he wasn't raised in it, much like Kirk, Picard, Sisko, Janeway, who the only thing they've ever known, the only type of service they've ever known is Starfleet. I mean, again, Scott Bakula's Archer might not have been alive to see the World Navy, World Army, World Air Force. He might have only, again, ever known Starfleet as the one and only joint service. But, well, Starfleet even still now.
And the Makos, they were a.
I was about to say, yeah, because even though, because they have the makeup. But Archer was more or less a family is everything type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't more or less about serving on the Enterprise. It was more or less being the guy that gets to control his dad's engine.
Mm-hmm.
It was more about the engine than it was Starfleet. It was more about, I want to, see my dad's success more than I want to see this new thing called Starfleet take off. Because again, like I said, it's not new per se, even when Archer's there. Yeah, it's what, 50, 60 years old at that point in time? Starfleet is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It hasn't been around very long.
Yeah, it's not new, but it's not old, So yeah, the Starfleeter for life, you can't really put that on him anyways. But the fact that we almost didn't get Scott Bakula and we didn't have a backup for him is just baffling. I don't think I could picture Archer as anybody else personally. Kirk, I've had the opportunity to see Kirk played by other people.
Mm-hmm.
At least Paul Wesley. Yeah, Paul Wesley being the most current. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy his Kirk. I enjoy his younger Kirk. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but the interview he just did where he talked about he watched a lot of the original series to prepare for the role, to kind of get Kirk's mannerisms down, the way he walks down, and the way he talks down. But also he's like, well, I kind of want to go into this just, kind of being a little bit of my own type of Kirk, just for the simple fact, maybe this is Kirk still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And who he's going to be, not the solidified captain we know him as. I've seen other people play Kirk. I've seen, when it comes to Janeway, is it sacrilegious to say that I have another choice that could have played Janeway? Sure, but I do. I have another choice that could have played Janeway back then that I think would have been fucking phenomenal. But it would have definitely been sacrilege, considering the fact we'd be taking her from the other team. I'm talking Carrie Fisher. Yeah, I think Carrie Fisher. Yeah, I think Carrie Fisher would have made a phenomenal fucking Catherine Janeway. But we got Kate Mulgrew, and I couldn't be happier. I can't see anyone else as Archer. I think about who was big at that point in time. I think about the actors that were massive at that point in time. Cannot do it. I don't think anybody else would have done better. But funny enough, number 13 is a different kind of Archer. Captain Archer is a man who likes to get his hands dirty and who cultivates good relationships with his crew that are human. Yeah, I added that last part. The characterization is a result of many rewrites and tweaks. He was originally envisioned, Archer was going to be an intellectual man who spent a few years on Vulcan before ever becoming a captain. That would have made sense. He would have become very familiar with the Vulcan culture, learning how to do mind melds and other obscure techniques. That would have pissed me off because humans can't do mind melds, but okay. Glad that got thrown away. The showrunners thought,
had excluded the mind melds, that could be that would have been a very interesting premise.
Yes, if they would have, and I'm pretty sure one of the other obscure techniques they're talking about is probably the Vulcan neck pinch, if not Kolinar. I think it would be interesting to see a human try to go through Kolinar. Don't get me wrong. But humans cannot do the neck pinch and humans cannot do the mind meld because it's the Vulcan physiology that works with the human physiology that makes those two things able to fucking happen. Okay? It's just like if you put Superman back on a red-sunned planet, he's just fucking a regular dude. He is no different.
Well, if humans train long enough, they can do the neck pinch.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Like if that was the route they were gonna go, like Archer can do the neck pinch, something like that, you know. Doing it
Yeah.
right, like saying like he spent 4 years learning that, I can believe that.
Okay. Yeah.
Because even Vulcans when they're children, of course, have a hard time learning it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the mind meld thing, that never would have panned out.
Yeah, no.
That you can't do that. The showrunners thought that this was not dramatic enough, so they decided to make him the total opposite. You will notice that near the start of the series, Archer is a blue-collar type who is kind of racist against Vulcans for the perceived disrespect they gave his father. It is only after spending a few months in close quarters with T'Pol that he has a change of heart. Okay. Change of heart, my ass. I mean, he does, but he doesn't. Like I said, he goes back and forth with it throughout the years. Personally, because like I said, you know, you'll have one episode where he'll ask Tucker, "What do you think?" Yeah, well, damn, that's a good spitter. Fuck, man, I don't fucking know. I'll tell you what, maybe we should ask the fucking pointy-eared fuck over there that I've been banging secretly behind your back. And he'll go, yeah, you know what? That's a great idea, Mister. Don't spit on my shit up again. Yeah. I made Tucker way too southern, but fucking I
you
had
did.
to go for it.
But Mama didn't raise no quitter.
and then you know, fucking he'll ask T'Pol, you know, hey T'Pol, what do you think about this? What should we do here? And she'll be like, oh well, you know, maybe we should not come at this with aggression. Maybe we should think about this logically. And he'll go, good point. Good point. And then whether it's later on that same fucking episode, when they finally get to do the thing he was asking about, or it's the next fucking episode with the same premise. Captain, remember, don't go at this with anger. Up yours, Vulcan. Suck it. Anger, fire. You know, it's those moments that like irritate the absolute shit out of me.
That's always going to be your biggest bone to pick with Enterprise.
It is. It will always be my biggest bone to pick.
That is going to be your biggest bone to pick.
Yeah.
And it will be for
the Ferengi. The Ferengi is the biggest. But yeah, that's number 2 on the list. You know, but however, I do love he does come around eventually to Ambassador Saval. And ultimately, he does trust T'Pol more than he trusts anyone else. And I think that includes Trip towards the very end. Because it eventually goes from, hey, Trip, what do you think? And then T'Pol to, hey, T'Pol, what do you think? Okay, Trip, how about you? And then if he needs anybody else's expertise, then it's Malcolm or it's Sato or you know, Mayweather or Merriweather, whatever his name is.
Mayweather, you know, right.
Mayweather, okay, yeah. You know, then he goes to that certain person afterwards. So yes, he does kind of have a change of heart, but it's very, very towards the end of the show. And I would have liked to have seen it sooner, personally. Number 12, diversity issues. We're in our last 6, guys. Enterprise got some major flack for the press because of its lack of diversity. Deep Space Nine and Voyager had both managed to portray a fairly diverse galaxy. At least when compared to other contemporary TV shows, Enterprise was seen as a step back. The only 2 non-white characters were Helmsman Mayweather and Ensign Sato. I'm sorry. What fucking race is Jolene Balak? Because she's not fucking white. Unless they're painting her fucking brown every goddamn episode in the makeup trailer. She's not fucking white. secondly, that's all you fucking need. I'm sorry, you want to praise the fuck out of the original series for having a black woman on the bridge, and then you talk about the Asian dude as well, as like Nichelle is the only part that makes this pivotal. But then you remember, oh shit, that's right, it was the 60s. We still didn't like the Japanese, but hey, Takei was there. You want to talk about a step back? Let's talk about next gen then. Which even then, only two there. LaForge and fucking Worf. And you really can't even count Worf as being a different race because Klingons don't technically fucking count.
You're an entirely different species.
Right, because if you're not going to count T'Pol because she's Vulcan, then you can't count fucking Worf, who's fucking Klingon, so you only have LaForge on Next Gen. You want to say Deep Space Nine was great? The only one that wasn't fucking white on Deep Space Nine was fucking Sisko. So does it only count because he was the fucking guy in charge? I mean, come fucking on. That is about the most stupidest piece of shit I've read. I'm sorry. I'm not going to continue with that one because there's like two more paragraphs there. I'm not going to continue with that.
Middle Eastern guy played their doctor.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. But even still, you only get two. Voyager was the only one that had more than fucking two.
You had,
and technically,
you had Tuvok, you had him, you had Chakotay,
and then you had B'Elanna.
Oh, I think B'Elanna would fall in the same category as Worf.
Yeah, Worf and T'Pol. Yeah,
exactly.
Which then again, you don't even get Tuvok.
That's a good point.
But I'm sorry. Yeah. So then again, two. You only get fucking two. So kiss my fucking ass. I'm sorry. Kiss my ass. That is stupid. It's not a step back. They are not a step back. You've only ever gotten two human characters that weren't white on the fucking bridge. Okay. Now, also let's talk about the fact that time in TV history, the early 2000s. Hi, kids. The 2000s were a great time. They were a very weird time.
They were.
Because if it hadn't been, honestly, I got to say, if it hadn't been for the 2001 attacks, for the September 11th attacks, I don't think the 2000s would have turned out the way they did. I think the 2000s would have been the 2010s. Because we were headed for racial divide massively in the 2000s. Then the September 11th attacks happened, and then the United We Stand campaign started. The white t-shirt that says United We Stand.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Came out. Yeah, and that, I think, repaired a lot. That was like all of a sudden, you know, it was very much a sibling rivalry. But then you punched one of the siblings in the face, and the other sibling was like, okay, now we're gonna fuck you.
I'm the only one who gets to punch them in the face.
Exactly. It's exactly how the 2000s felt. Was, oh, I'm sorry, you talking shit? No, I'm the only one that gets to talk shit. You shut the fuck up.
Very interesting. What if alternate history scenario to explore one of these?
Right. So 100%, I believe the 2010s, which were very much racial divide era, would have been the 2000s if not for September 11th.
That's a scary.
So TV in that time was very separated. There were black characters, black actors on white shows, so that racism wasn't the flag thrown. There were white actors on black shows so that racism wasn't the flag thrown. That was the only fucking reason. Especially when it came to something other than your normal sets of TV. So, like sci-fi, it was harder than shit to get an actor to want to be on a sci-fi show.
Mhm.
Because sci-fi wasn't big then anyways. Sci-fi was a dying franchise, mind you. Let's put this into perspective for you. Star Wars, okay, up until the most recent editions of Star Wars, in movies 4, 5, and 6, there's only one black guy in the galaxy, and he doesn't show up till movie 5, and that is Lando Calrissian, played by the great. His mind just escaped me, for fuck's sake. But okay, there's only one black guy in the galaxy in Star Wars, in the original 3 movies, and he doesn't show up until movie 5. In the second trilogy of Star Wars movies, 1, 2, and 3, there is yet again only one black dude in the entire galaxy, and he is the only one with a purple lightsaber. That, of course, is Samuel L. Jackson.
I was about to say there's 2 black people in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, there's 2, but
one
they're
had
separated.
To die before the other one came to existence, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
That's. I really should stop. I need to stop saying things like that.
and then in 6, 7, and 8, or 7, 8, 9, movie 7, 8, 9, you only get one more black guy there, and he's a former fucking stormtrooper.
Until you get to the last movie, anyway. Then there's finally 2 of them, and the world lost its mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Not exactly. Because of that. Mostly because it was a mediocre movie at best, but that's, yeah.
And again, I'll point us back to Family Guy, a Family Guy episode, in fact, which they do the Star Wars episodes, and it's like,
they clearly
and the only black guy in the galaxy, you know, the only black guy in the galaxy, and then Brian Stewie does, yeah, let's hope. Whoa!
Might be the only other female in the galaxy. I don't like her.
Yeah. So it was very hard to get. Sci-fi has been a very white thing, let's be honest. There have been some phenomenal black sci-fi films out there. Okay, don't get me wrong. But in the 2000s, sci-fi wasn't black. Sci-fi was very white and very minimal at best anyways. So, it was kind of hard to get anybody that wasn't white to play in a sci-fi show. It almost felt like, with any show, with any TV thing, it almost felt like, okay, who wants to sacrifice themselves to go be in the enemy's show? It's how TV felt in the 2000s, and you can tell. 2000s TV was.
It was
something.
It was yeah, it was something. I lost my train of thought there. I don't know where I was taking that.
Yeah, neither did TV in 2001.
Good point, but still. That's a very
But so yeah, but again, I'm sorry. You can't just say that like those 2 being the only 2 non-white characters are a step back. There's only been 2, but okay. Number 11, The Return of the Evil Goatee. Like every other Star Trek property before, Enterprise wanted to pay its homage to the original series. This should have been fairly easy to do since it was the prequel, and they could have been continually hinting at things to come that longtime viewers would have recognized. For Enterprise, the big idea was to get William Shatner as a guest star. He was supposed to appear in an episode which would have dealt with the Mirror Universe. The script was written and finished, but in the end, there was a fight over Shatner's remuneration. thinking he was worth a lot more than he was being offered. The Shat dropped out of the episode, which had to be rewritten.
That's an ongoing problem with Star Trek, mind you.
Yeah,
we've talked about it. Especially when we talked about the movies. Go check those episodes out, by the way.
Nice, yeah.
But yeah, Shatner wanting more than he was offered is, like, I don't want that to sound negative, but like that's what he always did. Like he always did that.
Yeah. But funny enough, the only one that ever made it a real problem, and it's not, and I don't want to say problem as if he was in the wrong. He was very much in the right, but that was Nimoy. Nimoy made it a problem for the studio because they wanted to shoot the movie, and Nimoy realized they'd been using him unlicensed and unpaid for years since the original series, and he hadn't seen any of it. So he's like, "No, you guys are going to pay me. You're going to take this shit down,
and
you're still going to pay me." And they were like, "We don't want to fucking do that." And he goes, "Well, I don't give a shit. We're going to court." They said, "We're going to make a Star Trek movie." He said, "Cool. Have fun not having Spock." And we all know how that ended up. I mean, you've heard it over the years.
You've heard us say it.
Yeah. Basically, he ended up getting some money, but also it was the threat. What closed out the court case initially, what closed out the court case was, "Hey, we're going to put the ears on someone, and if that's not you, we'll cast someone else." And he goes, "Well, fuck, that's stupid, but okay, I'll take your settlement, and we'll go from there." He did get paid, not what he should have, but yeah. It became the Mirror Universe two-parter that we know, which might be entertaining, but has almost nothing connecting it to the main universe. Personally, and this is just me here, I think the only Mirror Universe episode that does connect it to the main universe would be Mirror Mirror. And the only reason it's connected is because a transporter mishap. But sure, yeah. I just think it was a cool deviation from the story we were already getting. I think it would have been better if we would have gotten more of it, because I will say the even wanting more was the exact philosophy they went with when they ended the two-parter. I'm sure the plan was, hey, season 5 will finish the storyline off because let's have some fun here. And we never got season 5. Number 10, founding.
We'll be talking about that here in a minute.
Yeah. Number 10, founding the Federation. Though the actual founding of the Federation of Planets is shown in the series finale, the road taking us to that moment was supposed to be much longer. Manny Kato had been named showrunner for the 4th season, replacing Rick Berman and Brandon Braga. He decided to shift the focus of Enterprise to the founding of the Federation, hoping to bring the show closer to the original series. Holy shit! No wonder I love the 4th season. Fucking Rick Fuckman and Brandon Bitchboy weren't fucking on it. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Did I show my true feelings again?
Did, buddy. You sure did.
This was going to be an ongoing concern for the remaining of the series until he learned that the show was being canceled. He had no choice but to rush the storyline to its conclusion, including an episode where the 4 founding races have to work together to fight the Romulans, as well as a two-parter where humans have to fight the xenophobic group that had been planned for the 1st season before being scrapped by the network. Number 9, what could have been the founding of the Federation was going to be the main focus of future seasons, but it was going to be the only thing happening. The 5th season of Enterprise was almost entirely planned before news. Cancellation got to the producers. The list of stories imagined for the 5th season would certainly have made it its best yet. So it sounds like what I'm about to say, we're going to go deeper in on yours. So here we go.
Kinda.
it would have revealed how Earth became more of a utopic version of itself, as seen in other Star Trek series. We also would have witnessed the genesis of the Borg Queen, who was supposed to be a nurse from Earth who was assimilated under Archer's watch.
Interesting.
Very much so. All right.
That's not one of the ones covered, but yes, very interesting.
Yeah. The Romulan War would also have made an apparition, but the best thing would have been the addition of the beloved Shran to the main cast as an alien advisor to the Enterprise crew. Yes, I love Shran. I think not having the Romulan War would have been a mistake, personally, or just hinting at it would have been a mistake, considering the fact that the Romulan War is supposed to be a massive thing in Trek history, so much so that when the original series comes around to play, and we have that wonderful episode, the first time we see Mark Leonard on screen, it's a big thing. We haven't seen these bastards in years.
I was about to say they did kind of hint at it in one episode, I think, in season 4. But all it got was just like a minor mention.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, had there been a season 5 and 6 and 7, I think not having at least half a season dedicated to it would have been an injustice and a disservice.
Yep.
Number 8, they really messed up on this one. Possibly because of the rushed conclusion, Enterprise has what is widely considered to be the worst finale in the history of Star Trek. It is an episode which logically should be celebrating the characters we have been following over the course of the 4 seasons. Instead, the episode has more to do with the next generation, with Commander Riker visiting a simulation of the first Enterprise on his own holodeck. Brannon Braga at least admitted that it was a mistake. Brannon Braga is a mistake. His intention was to celebrate all of Star Trek as a franchise, since it was the end of the line for the time being. Instead, it ended up looking like a lack of respect to the Enterprise actors. According to Braga himself, filming the finale, which was such an insult that even Scott Bakula, usually a joy to work with, couldn't help but lash out at the producer.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, but let's look.
Warning, warp core breach a lot sooner than you think.
I'm trying to rush through this so we can get to yours and close this out within a decent amount of time, because we're crunching the last 30 minutes, really. Before we hit 3 hours.
No,
we're gonna go 3 hours tonight, guys. Yeah, we're gonna go over 3 hours tonight, guys.
I'm definitely shortening mine up, but
fuck it. Who cares?
As I tired.
The last 2 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise. Episode 20 feels like they don't know the end is coming, because it's still a regular story episode. Episode 4, or season 4, episode 21, they know the end is coming, and the end is here, the end is now, the end is nigh. Fuck it, let's close it. How do we do this? Well, let's celebrate all of Trek, because we don't know when Trek is coming back. This looks like the very fucking end. Personally, that's a beautiful fucking choice. But what do we say about the Enterprise crew? It's still going to be a story about them. Sorry, I love the finale. All of it up until Tucker's death. I love the fucking finale. I do. I do, because I see it the way it was meant to be seen. A celebration of Trek. The end of the line, end of the road for the foreseeable future. We don't know when it's coming back. Mm-hmm. And for 12 years, it didn't. On TV, at least. For 12 fucking years, it did not come back on TV. So I think it was beautifully done. I think it was wonderful. The fact that the Enterprise crew didn't care for it because it didn't give them the perfect send-off. A piss off. Your show was only really good for one
where they would be coming from in that particular aspect.
I did too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yes, they all should have had a good final moment. But I think the moment they got as their final moment was perfect. Your story led up to the founding of the Federation. There you guys are on stage at the founding of the Federation. That's as good as your crew gets, personally. For me, that, like, I'm sorry, that's as good as you guys should have gotten. You're remembered throughout history now as the people that founded the Federation. Because without any of you on that ship wouldn't have gotten as far as it did, would not have gone to the places that it did, and the Federation would have never become. Or it would have become a lot later because you specifically were not there. So personally, I think it's great. A tie-in with Next Generation is phenomenal. And like I said, the ending sequence being the perfection that it is. Sir Patrick Stewart, Jean-Luc Picard starting us off, Space the Final Frontier. These are the voyages of Starship Enterprise. Leading into William Shatner's its continuing mission, or its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to ending with Scott Bakula's Archer to boldly go where no one has gone before. Alluding to those being his words at the founding of the Federation and the birth of Starfleet we know is perfect. So sorry, cast, you guys are wrong. I'm sorry. I think what y'all got was perfect for you guys. Other than Tucker.
TED Talk.
Other than Tucker. Tucker's the only one that got fucked in that situation. Like, the only other thing that would have been perfect for the ending of that crew would be Tucker and T'Pol's wedding. Having Archer marry them, Tucker and T'Pol get married, and everybody else is just standing there. That's the only other ending you guys could have gotten that would have been great for that crew. But that's it. That's the only happy story you get is Tucker and T'Pol. I don't think we should get a, every 90s, street movie ending for them. With that, you know what I'm talking about, that fucking trend on TikTok with that song where the guy starts doing something and pauses and he goes, Tucker was blown up at the the Warp Core breach. T'Pol went back to living on Vulcan.
The very 90s 2000s movies ending.
Yeah. Like, what is that? What y'all wanted? Archer made Admiral, was booted back down to Captain, much like Kirk would be years later. Why, you ask? Because he punched Ambassador Saval in the face. Again.
Because he punched Ambassador Saval in the dick this time, not his face.
What is Malcolm doing? Malcolm's working at the Academy. Soto is working at the Academy. Mayweather is back back being a boomer and running his dad's old ship.
Up in a brothel in Germany.
Yeah. Like Phlox, went back to the Nebula and met 3 new wives. I don't fucking know. Like, shit,
3 new wives. I don't fucking know. Very possible. That's the kind of thing I could see Phlox do.
Yeah. Number 7, timeline jumping. The 2009 Star Trek movie was thought to be a reboot at first. Instead, it famously split the Star Trek universe into 2 different timelines. One which starts the original series, and one which starts with the rebooted movies.
What?
Why am I mentioning this on an article on Enterprise?
Why do they think that's a... What do they think a reboot is? Except dividing something into...
Yeah. Why am I mentioning this on an article on Enterprise? Well, with the timeline being split around the time of Mr. Spock and the rest of the gang, it means that the Enterprise is
still canon to the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah, Enterprise is the only Star Trek series to exist and be canon in both universes. Captain Archer and the rest of his crew existed exactly as depicted on television in both continuities. Now imagine if instead of blasting Sabotage by the Beastie Boys all the time, Chris Pine's Captain Kirk had a thing for the soft rock anthem Where My Heart Will Take.
It's been a long road. That would have been
Fuck you.
awesome.
Don't fuck with Sabotage. Don't fuck with Sabotage. Sabotage was the fucking thing that made those movies for me.
However, it would have been hilarious. And you know it. Man, I have some scenes to edit and send to you now just to fuck with you.
Oh, God damn it. Number 6 in the final one, because like I said, it's not giving me 5 through 1. It literally, like, I'm gonna show you right here, as you can read. Number 6, okay. We're gonna scroll down. Number 15.
Interesting.
14, 13. It does that 3 times. Before it ends the article right below number 6. So number 6, the final one. Not all surprises are good. There are many reasons why the theme song to Enterprise is the most hated in Star Trek history. It's cheesy. It's based on a Rod Stewart song for the Patch Adams sound, and it doesn't fit the Star Trek mold. However, there's no however. There's also the fact that fans have been given hope that it was going to be something else entirely. There was a rumor that Jerry Goldsmith, a longtime composer of Star Trek movies themes, was working on a new TV show. The fans were disappointed when
anything, this is bone number 3 in Chris's list for Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah, the fans were disappointed when it was revealed to be false, and the actual song did not ease the blow. Petitions were signed, and an actual protest was held outside of Paramount Studios. Braga and Berman tried to call the reaction among fans split, which is the understatement of the century. Actor Simon Pegg, a well-known Trekkie, even called it the most hideous moment in Star Trek history. Can I go back in time and be a part of that protest, please?
I go back in time and protest. I love that freaking intro. I love it. You cannot convince me differently. Either I will die on this hill or somebody will.
It'll probably be me, but fuck it.
But I have chosen that particular hill for death to occur.
I think, in all honesty, like I said earlier, Enterprise Season 4 could have been, if it had been the start, or if the Season 1 that was presented before it was shot down was that Season 1, I think Enterprise probably would have gotten 7 seasons. If Season 4 was the beginning for Enterprise, it would have gotten 7 seasons. Get rid of the Temple War. The Xindi, as much as I don't care for that story arc, it's not my least hated on that show. And it does provide a lot for character development for those characters, so I would keep it in there.
Especially for
I think I would have made that
in my opinion, for the inclusion of the Makos, one of my all-time favorite secondary departments in Star Trek. I freaking love the Makos. They are kick ass.
I gotta be honest, I like the Makos, but what threw me off is like the Makos are hardly mentioned before Next Gen.
That's true. Well, I was about to say, like, in the lore of things, here's a lore note for you.
Yeah.
So the Makos were originally a separate part. They weren't part of Starfleet, technically. They were their own separate entity. However, after the years of Enterprise and the Romulan Wars and so on and so forth, they were incorporated into Starfleet and their techniques, tactics, so on and so forth would become part of the regular security forces.
Right.
Per se. Or to what most people who know the extended lore would also become the Starfleet Marines. That would be in your fan stories, per se.
Yeah.
That's what the Starfleet Marines would technically be. Still a part of Starfleet, mind you, but just an entirely different department in and of itself.
Right. Much like Section 31, which is still technically Star Trek or Starfleet, but it's the CIA, let's be honest. There, yeah. It was just, don't get me wrong, I think they're cool as shit. I love the Makos. I really do. I love their inclusion in Trek throughout, because it's always been baffling to me that, like, you know, oh, there's really only one service now and it's all in space. You know, what happens when the planet is in duress?
Mm-hmm.
We got to have something other than a space force take care of shit.
Right.
And that's where the Makos come in. I always love the Makos. They're really cool. They're a really cool faction for me. I fucking enjoy the hell out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird to see them in something before they're truly mentioned. Like I said, Enterprise fucks with continuity a little bit. Not as much as, let's say, some other shows.
If you ask me, I think the Makos should have been introduced in Deep Space Nine.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been a perfect candidate for the United Federation of Planets ground forces during the Dominion War.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then have Enterprise tie into that would have been chef's kiss.
Especially because this Deep Space Nine had already gone back in time to the Trouble with Tribbles episode. So why not have an episode of a show set in the fucking past go forward in time to something that we know, especially because, as that article said, and as I said earlier, the storyline for season 3 is very reminiscent of the storyline for Deep Space Nine's seasons 5, 6, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
The Dominion Wars and the Xindi Wars are very parallel to each other. Very parallel. You know, but yeah, I don't know. But also the Mako guys giving Malcolm shit was probably some of my favorite writing on the show.
Yeah, that was actually really good to kind of see that.
Yeah, like, who's the better badass? Whose dick is bigger? You know, because when a show gives you a whose dick is bigger complex, it could be it's either really bad or it's really great.
This one was good. I feel like this one was really good.
Yeah, this one was really great because it was always. There were some moments where it's just like, okay, come on, Malcolm, shut the fuck up, take the L.
Yeah, come on, dude.
But the majority of it was very much, you know, done very beautifully, you know.
But
well, my guys can hold their breath for 11 seconds. Yeah, well, my guys can hold their breath for 13. And fuck yourself, you fucking Jew.
Yeah, and even in those moments where we as the audience are saying, "Come on, Malcolm, just take the L." Like, that's a very very realistic scenario. It's like, come on, dude, just take the L and let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Right. I will say, though, it did irritate me that those two did not end up fucking.
He got killed before they could.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I know the gay thing especially in the early 2000s. Oh, you didn't do that shit on TV.
Yeah, you didn't do that
was
shit at all.
unheard of.
That was a very, very bad thing to do back then.
But like watching it in the 2020s, like I can't tell you how many times I was looking at the TV and go, "Can you guys just fuck already?"
Can you guys just
And
fucking
Hannah
get
sitting
it
next
over
to
with?
me. Yeah, Hannah's sitting next to me, like for real. Like honestly, I'm glad you said it.
God damn,
Like-
you guys just get a room and settle this already?
Right, like it wouldn't have happened on the show because
Yeah.
the show at the time, that you didn't talk about that shit.
No.
Like as much as I will say,
and this is not
TNG can stand on its own. Deep Space Nine can stand on its own. Voyager can stand on their own. You could watch them at any time when they are really good shows about being it. When they go back in time, sure, they're going to show you what time they were made, but that's it. Other than that, they're episodes of current timeline for them. You can watch those anytime when they flow. As much as the original series is a product of the 60s, this series is a product of the 2000s.
Yep.
And it shows.
And this is not like I didn't, but that was why some of Discovery was a real shell shock.
Yeah.
Because even in shows at the time, and I think even Star Trek Discovery kind of started this a little bit. Not to say that it wasn't around at the time, but Star Trek Discovery kind of, I don't want to say forced because that sounds negative, but like put it back in, or put it into mainstream media, was the LGBTQ thing that we see in most of our entertainment today.
Yeah.
But it was very much a shell shock to me as a longtime Star Trek fan to kind of see that aspect portrayed in Star Trek. Not to be negative, believe me. No, like I'm cool with it. I'm good. But it was,
for me, I guess I would have to say it's not that it's because if Deep Space Nine's first one to have an LGBT scene with Jadzia meeting a former mate of one of the former Trill that Dax was a part of, and they have a short relationship together. As a young teenager, I've watched that episode more than I care to admit, and for other reasons other than to watch it. Okay, so I'm not talking about that. We're just gonna.
I was about to say, yeah,
that's
like
there. Okay.
Well, I did not have Deep Space Nine growing up, so it was a little bit more of a shell shock to me, just to see it, more or less.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
For me, I will say when it came to Discovery, it was like, why did it take so long? Personally, you know, with how, and I don't want to say this because I hate this fucking term. It is made up bullshit. But with how woke Star Trek is and has been since the very fucking beginning, how pushing the boundary Star Trek is.
Yep.
Why did it take so long? Again, I know why. Because even when Deep Space Nine did it, there was a lot of hate for that episode.
Oh yeah.
Harry Farrell got death threats for that episode. For even portraying, you know, even though that it was more or less Dax taking over and the memories of a male Trill taking over and kissing that woman. It was a woman's body kissing another woman's body, and people didn't like it.
Right.
I know why it hadn't been done before, but I'm just surprised that Discovery was the first one to really do it. I'm surprised we didn't get it with the Kelvin timeline.
The Kelvin timeline,
other than
or even like even Voyager and Enterprise when or even like Voyager, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise when AIDS was hitting so hard back in the 90s.
Because, you know, with the Kelvin timeline, we don't even get it like we get it in Discovery. We get it entirely different because all we see in the Kelvin timeline is Sulu running to some dude, picking up a child, and then a slight kiss on the cheek is shared between the men.
Mhm.
There are cultures on the other side of the world where men greet each other with a "mwah, mwah" type kiss on the cheek type thing.
Mhm.
And it's very welcomed over there. It's a very it's a hello that's been through time.
Mhm.
That can be explained as just a very good friend.
Mhm.
Now, the director has said, no, that's his husband and that's their adopted daughter. And I love that he backed it up.
Mhm.
But that's it. That's it. It's just that one quick, you blink and you miss it kind of fucking scene.
Yep.
Literally that fast. It's in the third installment. So the first two movies, Sulu's just fucking Sulu. You know, there's no real sexual orientation. And I understand where a lot of people come from. I'm interested in the fucking story. I don't need to know what these characters fuck when they get home.
Right.
But at the same time, these stories are people's lives in the future. It's a story of what happened for us in the future. So we're following these people on a day-to-day basis. So eventually we're going to see them fuck something. I think representation matters.
No, absolutely.
And correct representation, you know, not just taking a character who has been canonically one thing and turning them into something else. No. If you want to do something like that, create an entirely new, different character to represent someone else, you know, because again, I'll get mad at some shit like that. You know, say, you know, with the Kelvin timeline, it works. It works with the Kelvin timeline because that is a different universe, and it's an homage to George Takei, who played Sulu, and his actual sexual orientation. So it works there. But however, you say with Strange New Worlds, not that they're going to, but all of a sudden Spock turns gay.
Right.
And it's not just, you know, it's not a I'm gay for an episode because this thing made me gay, kind of like Pink Kryptonite makes Superman gay. No, he's gay and now he's gay forever. That's going to piss me off. Why? Because Spock's not gay. But now you come up with another Vulcan that knows Spock, and now he's gay. Cool. Yeah. I'm fucking with it. I'm rocking with it. Why? Because you're not fucking up the shit that I've known for this, you know, for such and such years. And you're giving people representation. You're giving gay men representation in a character that probably more people identify with than any other. I think the one race in Star Trek that people identify more than any other race is the Vulcans. Because everybody wants to be a little Vulcan. Everybody wants the ability to be able to just shut their emotions off and go through life. And honestly, not give a fuck. You know, I can't tell you how many times I'd love to do that. Just, you know, so I woke up this morning. I went to my car. There was a bit of traffic, but that's okay. Got here, and, well, I am pleased to see you again. I just fucking love to do that shit. Give me a gay one. Fuck it. You know, give me a lesbian. Give me one that identifies as a they them. Give me a trans character in Star Trek. I think Strange New Worlds could hit that right now. I think they should hit that right now. Somewhere in season 3, season 4, season 5, wherever the fuck, I think they need a trans character. And the reason I'm saying that show needs one is for one reason only. The hot button issue right now is not LGBTQ. It's just the T. It's just trans. Star Trek has always been very good about pushing that hot button issue. They love to do that shit. Push the fucking button. Push the button. Give me a trans character. Let a trans actor play that character. And have some fun. I know we won't get it, and I'll tell you why. Skydance. The Skydance takeover, I'm sure I can see it within the next couple years. All of a sudden, Starfleet Academy goes under. We've seen the teaser for it. I don't know about you. I kind of fuck with it.
It looks good. I have high hopes for it.
I do too. I'm curious to see the female Jim Hadar. I'm curious to know her story. Because I can see one of two things there. That might be our trans character.
Maybe. That's entirely
there's a
possible.
possibility. It's either that is our trans character, or Jim Hadar have evolved, and now there's women in the species. Or hell, we might have fucking both in one character, showing that hell, Jim Hadar have evolved and there are women species, but also she is trans. Cool. That'd be okay with both, honestly. Fuck it. I'm curious to know her story. But I can see them canceling it because Skydance is owned by a family who is very, very red hat wearing people. Now, the red hat wearers don't like Star Trek. They never fucking have. Because of how quickly Star Trek is to press that goddamn button. Oh, black people and their rights are a hot issue? I'm going to put one on my bridge that gets more respect than anybody else. Later down the line, she's going to get so much respect because she's the voice of the starship, not the fucking computer. How about that? Oh, Japanese Americans are a hot button issue because it's only been 20 years since they bombed the hell out of us and we went to war with them? Guess what? That's the pilot of our fucking ship. Oh, Russians, they're a hot button issue? You think they're spies among you? We got a Russian on our ship too. You know, later on, oh, the collapse of the USSR, the collapse of Russia, the Chernobyl incident. We're going to make a movie about it. Star Trek 6. No, all you original series fans, y'all can't stand Klingons, huh? Guess what? One's now in charge of the tactical and security on board the USS Enterprise, the flagship of the Federation. Suck it. Oh, black men have equality now. Really? You think so? Well, now there's one in charge of an entire space station. Oh, women need equality. Cool. Now there's one in charge of a starship. They're always quick to hit that button. Always quick to hit that button. I love
that button. Yep.
Love that button. Skydance does not love that button. Someone said Disney is looking at acquiring Star Trek. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
Because I know Disney will touch that button, but Disney loves touching the let's rewrite this button too.
Yeah, I was about to say they push that button a little too hard.
Disney's quick to make Spock gay canonically, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Disney would fuck around and make Sulu black. Which, I mean, I'm sure there are black Asians
Disney's
out there.
got a very interesting idea when it comes to that.
Yeah. But Disney's quick to hit the rewrite button, and I don't want the rewrite. I want
Disney's way too quick to hit that rewrite button.
Yeah,
I feel
want
like
Seth
they hit it
MacFarlane
almost too often in some cases.
Every live action remake, man. Every live action remake, they're like, you know what? Let's fuck with some shit here. Let's press this button over here.
Except for Beauty and the Beast, I feel like they got that one pretty spot on.
They did that one pretty good, yeah. But
like
again, some of these like
they didn't do it to, but everything else has been rewritten, just about.
Yeah. But you know, that's beside the point.
Anyway,
I need a trans character in Star Trek. I need them to be played by a trans actor because that's how you're really gonna press that button. Don't just put a trans character on the bridge. Because if you put a trans character on the bridge and you get a female at birth person to play a trans female character, you're doing an inservice, an injustice to what trans women really look like. You put a trans man on the bridge and you put a male at birth character or actor playing that trans man, you're doing an inservice of what trans men look like. Plus, you're not really hitting that button. While you're hitting the button, you're playing it the safest way possible.
Now they have...
And I understand in TV and streaming, you want to try to play it safe, but Star Trek has never been a play it safe. Let's go for fucking broke.
Mm-hmm. Now, Strange New Worlds did have a trans actor in their first season.
Yes.
The character
I did know
Angel, I believe it was.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
I remember that was a big thing going around for a little bit after that episode came out, if I remember right.
Which I wish they would have done more with Angel, because I think the storyline there would have been they could have done that.
I kind of hope they make a comeback in seasons 3, 4, or 5.
Right. Which hopefully, because
explore that Cybok connection a little bit more, because I'm a lover of Star Trek 5.
Yeah,
would be perfect reason to bring her back.
Right, and help. Just because we didn't get Cybok in the original series, and even Kirk mentions the fuck is this? You got a fucking brother you never fucking told me about. This is perfect time to do some Cybok backstory shit.
Mm-hmm.
The perfect time, because Kirk ain't supposed to be here. McCoy ain't supposed to be here. Uhura could be off doing some other shit, so really she don't gotta be there either, and we can deal with Cybok and figure out why the fuck Spock and Cybok don't like
wobbly mind meld shenanigans. Because they're both Vulcans.
Bullshit. Right. But anyways,
man, we're giving you the tools here. Make some fucking Star Trek.
Let us be writers already. Like, come on, Paramount, just hire us. Just hire us. We'll make you some damn good money.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make you some great shows. But okay, you have an article about the proposed season 5 Star Trek Enterprise never got. Let's get into that.
Okay, this is going to be extremely, extremely shortened. Not shortened so much as to not include anything, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, 20 years later, I'm even sadder that Star Trek Enterprise Season 5 didn't happen because of these 3 planned stories, some of which we have talked about a little bit earlier.
Right.
One of the biggest changes to Star Trek Enterprise's legacy, if Season 5 had happened, is that Enterprise's controversial finale, These Are the Voyages, would not have taken place or happened later, or perhaps very differently. Star Trek Enterprise's finale is reviled to this day, which we talked about. We both have a problem with that. Anyway.
Yeah.
If Enterprise Season 5 had taken place, Enterprise Season 4's ending would have likely set up the next season and not killed off the popular Commander Tucker for shock value.
I don't know, because it feels like take away the fact that they're there for the Federation.
Mm-hmm.
Take away they're there for that fact. The circumstances that led up to Tucker's death probably still could have happened in that episode, and I think we still might have lost Tucker in that episode.
Right.
But fair enough. Continue on.
Yeah. Anyway. From interviews given by the late Manny Coto, Enterprise writer Mike Sussman, and others on the show's creative team, there were 3 major story threads Star Trek Enterprise Season 5 would have delivered on, and it's a real shame they didn't see the light of day. So one of the ones we did talk about earlier, Star Trek Enterprise Season 5 would have laid the foundation for the Romulan War. And this does get a little bit more into it.
Okay.
The Federation's rise as a galactic power is something the Romulan Star Empire would have opposed. Star Trek Enterprise Season 4 established that Romulans had infiltrated the Vulcan High Command and installed a puppet government led by Valas. The Romulan War, beginning or being waged in Star Trek Enterprise Season 5, would have delivered a Star Trek canon event that has yet to be seen. In Star Trek The Original Series Balance of Terror, Spock Leonard Nimoy gave a brief rundown of the 22nd century conflict between Earth and the Romulans, which was fought with, quote, primitive atomic weapons. Enterprise would have likely retconned this, and possibly how no human had supposedly ever seen a Romulan before Balance of Terror. Making the Romulan threat even more personal, Star Trek Enterprise writer Mike Sussman pitched the revelation that Sub-Commander T'Pol's unseen father would be unmasked as a Romulan. This, of course, would make T'Pol half Romulan, to explain some of her character's divergences from the typically stoic portrayal of Vulcans. A half Romulan T'Pol would have also manifested Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan's unrealized plan to make Lieutenant Saavik half Romulan.
That I could see. I could honestly see that. I like that. I like that was a story arc, like, not originally planned.
Right.
So, T'Pol in seasons 1 and 2, still kind of sucks to me. But, the fact that they would have retconned it with that in season 5, I enjoy the fuck out of that, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that explains a lot of who T'Pol is, if you would have put that in there.
If they put that in, absolutely. And I think even some of the books, that are based on what would have been the hypothetical season 5, like there's a whole book on that tells the story of the Romulan War from the perspective of the NX Enterprise. I think they hinted that. I would have to look back into that. Anyway.
Well, my headcanon is she's half Romulan now, so.
Yeah, no. Just like Lieutenant Saavik. Who actually was made a half Romulan in the comics, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he was.
It was revealed in the comics that she was half Romulan. Never revealed in the movie, though. Or in the movies at all.
Yeah.
Star Trek Enterprise Season 5 would have returned to the Mirror Universe.
Okay.
Star Trek Enterprise Season 4 showrunner Manny Coto was a fan of the Mirror Universe, which resulted in Enterprise Season 4's two-parter in A Mirror Darkly. Enterprise's romp in the evil alternate timeline answered the question of what happened to the Constitution-class USS Defiant, which vanished in Star Trek The Original Series, The Tholian Web. The Mirror Universe Captain Archer hijacked the Defiant and tried to make a bid for ultimate power in the Terran Empire. However, Archer was betrayed by his mistress, who declared herself Empress Hoshi Sato. Manny Coto had plans for the Mirror Universe stories in Star Trek Enterprise Season 5. In A Mirror Darkly took place entirely in the alternate reality, but Enterprise Season 5 might have seen Captain Archer and the NX-01 Enterprise crossover from Star Trek's Prime timeline. Very interesting concept that we kind of got to see in Discovery towards the end of Season 1.
Yeah.
Where Discovery crosses from the Prime timeline to Mirror Universe. Enterprise Season 5 would have delivered the follow-up to Hoshi's rise as Terran Empress, which raised questions that Star Trek has left unanswered 20 years later.
Which I'm surprised there's no books on that either, honestly.
Right. No, absolutely. Like, there's stuff that mentions it, but nothing solid.
Shit, in all honesty, man, if I was a fucking writer, I'd fucking do it right now. I'd start writing a goddamn book myself.
Perhaps William Shatner's rejected Star Trek Enterprise Season 4 appearance playing Tiberius Kirk could have even happened in Season 5, given that a renewal of the shown UPN had faith of the heart in its Star Trek prequel. That is literally how it's written. That is literally how this article writes that. In The Center Seat, 55 Years of Star Trek by Peter Holmstrom, Coto believed...
Hold up real quick, though. So, William Shatner were to come back to play, what, his grandfather?
I believe so.
But
it wasn't Tiberius Kirk. Because Tiberius
grandfather would not make sense. I mean, great grandfather, sure, because if you think about the fact of how old William Shatner would have been at that time, you know,
right. Now he could have played his grandfather in, say, Star Trek Discovery.
Right. He could play his grandfather in Star Trek Discovery. Hell, he could even make a bid for his father in Star Trek Discovery. You know, but playing a grandfather back in Enterprise is not feasible. There's too much time difference.
He didn't look nearly like he did in 2005 like he does now, because that was 20 years ago.
That's true.
So I think if they played it right, I think it could have worked. But anyway.
But also, I mean, he's just also one of those guys that, you know, sure, he ages, but he ages very slowly, much like Patrick Stewart. Because he definitely does not look 95 fucking years old.
Right.
No, he looks like he's maybe in his mid to late 70s.
Yeah. All right. In the center seat, 55 Years of Star Trek by Peter Holmstrom, Koto believed UPN didn't want Enterprise to be saved by a William Shatner ratings boost. A scenario where Enterprise Season 5 existed might have welcomed Shatner to the Star Trek prequel instead. And our last and final storyline of this article, Tran would have joined Captain Archer's crew in Star Trek Enterprise Season 5. Another exciting development planned for Star Trek Enterprise Season 5 was that Commander Thylek Shran, Jeffrey Combs, would have joined the NX-01 Enterprise's crew, either as a recurring character or series regular. Star Trek Enterprise's cast held at 7 main characters for all 4 seasons, relatively one of the smallest in the Star Trek series. The addition of Tran would not only have raised that number, but also placed a proven fan favorite Jeffrey Combs Star Trek character on Captain Archer's bridge. Captain Archer and Tran began on opposing sides, but as Star Trek Enterprise continued, the Andorian commander developed a respect for the pink-skinned human captain of the Enterprise. Tran would have also injected a new alien presence to create conflict, since by Enterprise Season 4, Paul had established her loyalty to Starfleet over Vulcan, and Archer's crew no longer saw her in a prejudicial way. Tran might have inherited T'Pol's role of noting the strange and reckless behavior of humans aboard the Enterprise.
Saying that having 7 regular characters is small by Star Trek means, I don't agree with that, and I'll tell you why. When the original series came out, there's 9 characters that we know, right? But there's only 7 that we see almost every episode, and even then, we don't see all 7 of them every fucking episode. Especially in the first season, the only 3 we saw every episode were Kirk, McCoy, and Spock. Very, you know, quite often you'd have Sulu, quite often you'd have Uhura. Whether they had lines or were just in the background, you'd have them there.
Right.
Then, you know, very, very seldomly you'd have Scotty and Janice Rand. And Janice Rand is only technically number 9 because she has a name and is on more than a few episodes, but she's only in the first season. She does not appear in Season 2 and Season 3. She only comes back for a slight cameo in Star Trek The Motion Picture there at Space Dock.
And Star Trek 6.
Oh, right, and 6. But even still,
about that one too. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought she was in 2 of the movies. Yeah. I know I've seen her in the Monster Marine.
Yeah. But that's the only reason I count her as number 9. And the 9 characters, I'll tell you who they are. You have 3 yellow shirts, and that's Kirk, Sulu, Chekhov. You have 3 blue shirts, McCoy, Spock, Chapel. Then your 3 red shirts are Scotty, Nichelle, and Janice Rand. And that's your 9 characters of the original series.
Yep.
But technically, you only get 7 because you'll take Chapel and you'll take Janice Rand away because they weren't featured as much as the others. So to say that them having 7, and then let's go to the Next Generation. Your 7 regulars, or your regulars for that show: Picard, Riker, Data, Worf, LaForge, Troy, Crusher. And it's Dr. Crusher. And that's 7. You get 9 here as well. You get 9 here as well. You get O'Brien and you get Wesley.
Yeah.
Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Sisko, Jake. Deep Space Nine is interesting.
Yeah.
But if we go with just the Starfleet crew, that's all I'm going to go with. Just the Starfleet crew, considering that's what they're talking about, is just the crew of the Enterprise. You get even less here.
Yeah, you get Sisko.
Kira, Odo, Sisko. Dax, O'Brien, and the Doctor. You get 6 here.
Yeah.
Voyager, I think, is the only one we get more than 7 by technicality.
Janeway,
with
Chakotay,
the entire
Tuvok, B'Elanna, Tom, Harry, 7.
Neelix,
Neelix,
7.
and yes, technically would count.
Yeah,
which that's
I count that.
That's still 9.
That's 8.
Oh, 8.
Who did I miss? You said Janeway,
Chakotay, Tuvok,
Kim, Tuvok, Kim,
B'Elanna,
B'Elanna, Paris,
Tom,
Neelix, 7.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's 9.
Yeah.
They're the only one that gets more.
I mean, I can kind of see what he says, because yes, they had 7 crewmates, but they only focused on maybe 2 or 3 of them at a time.
Which yeah. Now, if that's what he means, then I'll give him that. I think
that's the argument he's trying to make, but I can't speak for him. So, but no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the argument he's trying to make. Is like, yes, there's 7 mains, but we only focus on like 2 or 3 at a time, kind of like Star Trek the original series did. So I guess that's still
yeah.
I don't know.
Which I understand that, but also kind of still want to fight that one, because even Next Gen was only a couple. Like, there's only few episodes where Next Gen features the whole fucking crew the whole damn time, and those are more often than not fucking Q episodes.
Right.
Oh, and then you know what? 10 and 11 for Next Gen, Q and fucking Guinan. Forgot about those 2.
Yeah. You kind of, yeah. Anyway.
But still, my point still stands. 7's the fucking regular. 7's all you fucking need. You go more than 7, you risk forgetting who the fuck you have. I'm sorry, like, you know.
I mean, if we count everybody else besides the Starfleet and Bajoran crew in Deep Space Nine, they did it right to where you could actually remember who the fuck you had. You might forget about them for a couple of episodes, but then you bring them back a couple episodes later, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I forgot they were." Yeah,
because you get Morn, you get Lita, you get Rom, Nog, Quark, fucking, you know,
even Martok.
Martok, Galron for a little bit, you know.
Anyway, Commander Shran in Star Trek if I can learn to fucking talk, Jesus Christ. Shut up. Commander Shran in Star Trek Enterprise Season 5 could have marked the first time Jeffrey Combs became a series regular on a Star Trek show. After distinguishing himself in numerous guest spots like Weyoun and Liquidator Brunt in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek fuck. I just can't fucking talk apparently all of a sudden. Star Trek Enterprise Season 5 Never Happening is a loss for the fans who were on board with Captain Archer's voyages on UPN and the next generation that came to love Star Trek Enterprise in the 2 decades since its cancellation. That is the article that I have found.
I would say to see Jeffrey Combs as a series regular would have been nice to have.
Absolutely.
Especially when it's the character of Shran. You've heard me say it 1,000 times. Shran's my favorite character of that whole entire show. I love Shran.
That's part of the reason, like, taking this to Star Trek Online again for a little bit here. That's one of the reasons I like the Discovery, quote unquote, tutorial, like the first few missions where you're back in the Discovery timeline, is because we get a descendant of Shran, and he's the captain of a goddamn starship, motherfucker.
Yeah, Shran is just
Shran, and he's amazing.
And what's really funny is the fact that I love him speaks to Jeffrey Combs' ability to act. Because when it comes to Jeffrey Combs' two other characters, which are notated in Deep Space Nine, I fucking hate them. I hate him with passion. Weyoun, I want to beat the fuck out of Weyoun. I want to hold him in the liquid that is the Founders until he stops breathing. Okay, that is how I feel about Weyoun. And I feel the exact opposite with Shran. Every time Shran's on the screen, I am yipping and yaying. I'm cheering like it's my favorite team about to win the World Series. Okay, look, I love Shran, and I cannot stand Weyoun, and it just speaks to how good Jeffrey Combs is as an actor, that he can make me the
While I was watching, like, one of my first watch, actual full watch through of Deep Space Nine, I didn't even realize they were the same person for a little bit. I was like, oh yeah, his voice kind of sounds like this other guy, and then I go to look it up on IMDb. Yeah. Holy shit, it's the same dude! What the fuck?
Yeah. And I think it's because of the extra shit that he has on his fucking ears as a fucking Vorta.
I think that was a lot of it back in the day. It was like, he's got a lot of shit on his head.
Yeah, because, like, you know, again, when I first saw Shran, I was like, you know, who the fuck is that? Because I'm with you. I'm the exact opposite. I'm like, the voice sounds familiar. It sounds like someone I can't stand. Who the fuck is that? And I look it up, I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, well, no wonder I can't fucking tell who it is, because we get to see his jawline in this fucking series. And the other one, you couldn't see his fucking jawline. All you saw is just, like, you know, you get all this extra shit on the sides, and it's like,
or at best,
trying to see his face through it. Yeah, it's like trying to figure out,
covered with makeup.
Yeah,
or prosthetics.
It's like that one episode where Sisko, O'Brien, and who's the third one? Anyway, they get surgery to look like Klingons in an episode of Deep Space Nine. And if I didn't see Colin Meaney
I'm gonna have to
go through the process to become a Klingon, you couldn't tell me that the guy playing Chief O'Brien and the guy playing that fucking Klingon were the same dude. You couldn't tell me, because the amount of makeup that he's under. And it's, again, it speaks to the makeup artist behind Trek.
Well, even like, and here's a real shocker for you. Up until like the last 3 or 4 years, I had no idea that Tim Russ was in Star Trek Generations, and that was Tuvok. I never made that fucking connection.
Yeah.
And then 3 or 4 years ago, I'm like, wait a minute, hold the fuck! Like, I hit the pause button.
Yeah.
What?
Well, see,
like,
and that would be with
all the ears.
Voyager. Yeah. That was me. I'm watching iCarly. Okay, I'm a kid. I'm watching iCarly. Or I'm a teenager. But either way, I'm watching iCarly, exactly, and it's one of the episodes where they go to the principal's office, and there's Tim Russ. And my dad goes, oh, look, it's Tuvok. And it's not fucking Tuvok. He goes, yeah, the fuck it is. I was like, no, that's the dude from Spaceballs that says he ain't found shit. But that ain't fucking Tuvok. He goes, it's all the same dude. It's Tim Russ. I'm like,
dude.
Huh? And I made the connection, click, and I put the fucking, you know, I look and I put the fucking pointy ears on him. I'm like, holy shit!
like taking out like an expo marker and like, son of a bitch.
No, what was
You look
fucked
like
up
a
is
conspiracy
I
theorist with your
remember.
expo marker drawing on the fucking TV screen like, motherfucker.
No, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. I fucking
Oh
shit
boy,
you
get
not.
your
This
tinfoil
literally
hats ready,
happened.
folks.
Not make this up if I tried. I was homesick from school. Okay. I was homesick from school. My dad had just gotten off work when he said that I had just got done watching Wrath of Khan again. So I had my Spock ears sitting on the table next to me watching iCarly. And so when he said that, I took the Spock ear and I put it up against him. I go, son of a bitch.
Oh, I remember when I was a kid and I had Spock ears that used to be my father's.
I should have got mine. They're right over. I can look. I know the tub they're in. I had to
no
polish
idea
it
where
off
those
of it.
damn ears went. No friggin'
I've got
clue.
them, and I've got the Bajoran nose. I've got the Bajoran nose piece.
I remember we had Vulcan ears that were made out of cheap rubber from way back in the day. Like the things that those like those little coin holders were made of back in the day, that kind of rubber, that's what those ears were made out of. They were super uncomfortable to fucking wear. But
oh yeah,
we had Vulcan ears when I was a kid that used to be my dad's from way back in the day.
Well, see, let me show you. I got some others over here. Hold on. Let me grab them.
For those of you watching and those of you listening, we have about probably about 5 minutes before we're going to call this one.
Give or take 5 minutes. Hell, we might go over tonight. Fuck it.
I'm saying 5 minutes because my happy ass has got to go to fucking bed. I am exhausted.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I am on hour. Hold on. I'm on hour 28 right now, so
I've got elf ears, and the elf ears came with a 2-pack, and with the long ones, and it came with the short ones. Now, if you blend these in just the right way, you can make them look Vulcan. You just, do the fucking eyebrows and shit. And these are a hell of a lot more comfortable than the ones that I have, because I have the ones that go around the back in case the fucking ear.
See, that's the ones I had when I was a kid, like the ones that.
Yeah, they encase the ear. They're uncomfortable.
Ears, like a fucking xenomorph decided to fuck your ear or something like that.
Yeah, and these just loop on. And so, if I'm going to play Vulcan, I'm probably putting these on.
I would get shorter ones. That's just
me. Yeah, I mean,
that's just me because I'm a stickler for mostly on-screen accuracy in that particular.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I am too. Like, I wouldn't, those would be like if I can't order anything and I need to play a Vulcan like tomorrow. Yeah, throw those on.
Like, you need to play a Vulcan tomorrow and you don't have a makeup department.
Yeah, like, fuck it. There we go. I'm Vulcan now. Live long and suck it.
You can live long and suck it.
Suck it. But we stayed on topic tonight for more.
We did. We stayed on topic for a good at least 2 hours and 50 minutes. I'm going to call that a fucking record.
That's a win. That's a win.
That's an absolute win.
Well, since you got to go to bed, we'll end it here.
This is an absolute win.
Yeah. Are you not entertained? Come to you guys next week. We'll be hitting the other half of my introduction to Star Trek, the 2009 movies. The first thing I saw Trek as it came out. Again, I was alive for parts of Voyager. I was alive for parts of Deep Space Nine. I was alive for all of Enterprise. Did not watch it.
I only remember watching the series finale of Enterprise.
Yeah. So Star Trek, Into Darkness, and Beyond are the only three that I saw as they came out. Were the first ones that I saw as they came out. I'm really excited to talk about these movies. I love them to death, and there's so much lore, Easter eggs, and so much that I have on these movies that I'm ready to drop. next week. So get ready for it, guys. This is the end of season 1 for our podcast.
Season 1 of Two Captains, One Pod has concluded. And oh boy, what a milestone. Holy shit.
Absolutely. We've got half a year put into this. Technically over. We have technically taken a couple days, a couple weeks off here and there. But in terms of 52 weeks makes an entire year, this is half a year for us. We've been at this for half a year. That is astounding, amazing. For all of you that have been here since the beginning, thank you. Because we just started this just to, have something to fucking do and talk about Star Trek and not feel bad about ourselves or, be too nerdy about it.
Exactly.
So, I can still remember the day we thought about it. This was going to look entirely differently. This was supposed to look entirely differently.
Oh, yeah.
It was. I remember you came to me to go, hey, that idea that you had for that podcast on using TikTok Live, you mind if I use those? Like, I don't fucking care. I didn't start that shit. I mean, yeah, I might have started it. I might have thought about it and come up with it, but I'm pretty sure someone else did that before me.
You suggested the idea, and I took it and I ran with it. And here we are half a year later. Actually, probably since the conception, we're probably almost about a year in on this shit.
Yeah.
It's the original conception of this. What we got going on here.
then came January. Then came January of this year. I had called you. I don't even remember what for. I think I was doing something. I was building a model kit that had nothing to do with Star Trek.
No, it didn't. I think. What the fuck were we doing in January?
I don't remember, but all I know is
I think you had just gotten into Star Trek Online in January.
Yeah, we'd started talking about Star Trek Online, and I was downloading it while
we started playing it, and then we're like,
yeah, we figured out that you could use we could use the PlayStation 4 chat or PlayStation 5 chat.
Yeah,
PlayStation chat, because I was on the 4, you were on the 5. PlayStation chat to go to YouTube. And we're like, you know what? Let's do this.
We found out you could use the PS5 to broadcast to YouTube. I could take it from YouTube and put it into a podcast form. Granted, it took a while to get to that point. Get to the Spotify point, but shush, you mind your damn business.
But it worked. We made it work. We figured it out, and now we're here. We figured out how to use Discord. Discord has led to several other opportunities for us, along with Cosplay Confederation, being a cosplay-centered podcast, and now Nerdstown being everything-centered podcast, anything that has to do with any bit of nerd culture. So we'll probably talk Star Trek on there.
Whatever, doesn't matter. Superheroes, doesn't matter.
D&D, you name it. If it's nerd culture, it's going to be talked about on that podcast one day or another. And it's just going to lead to more and more. We're building up to next year.
We're still building up to audio dramas. So if you're still looking for those, give it a bit. Somebody has a really bad case of writer's block, which is probably only going to get worse here in like the next month because somebody else is going to have something going on.
But also, I mean, we're still building up to Star Trek, the 60th anniversary tour, Star Trek Las Vegas next year. We are gonna make that happen. I'm damn sure gonna make that happen.
There's a way.
And there's a Will Wheaton. There's a Will, what's his face on. But for tonight, guys, thank you for being here with us. Star Trek Enterprise is in the books. And there's always a place for you here.
And so concludes the golden age, what I would consider the golden age of Star Trek.
We now move on to the Silver Age.
Before moving on to the modern age.
Yeah. and whatever Discovery is. There's always a place for you in Star Trek. Discovery proves that. So find your spot and have fun with it. Set phasers to fun. Beam up to a whole new world. You'd love to see it. We'd love to have you here. And if you ever need to, 988's that number. Use it, please. Come find us over on TikTok. I am the guy that cosplays on TikTok and Instagram. He is Captain Hudson
on
Captain
YouTube,
Hudson Cosplays.
And I am John Hudson Cosplay on TikTok.
Yeah. So come find us, come talk to us. We'd love to have you guys here. Captain Yarbrough signing out.
And Captain Hudson signing out for the last time on Season 1.
Season 1.